Test, check 1, 2. Test, check 1, 2. And it's just going to keep looping over and over and over again as long as we're within earshot of the computer.
Mm-hmm.
Can you sit down so I can make sure it's not too close, please? Sorry about the ring light, guys. It's said I wish there was a way to take this off and still use the tripod. Okay. That is just absolutely pissing me off. Oh my gosh. Oh, yellow. TENIME here. Sorry we missed March. This was supposed to be the March trivia. I have my lovely co-host Kat with me as always. Today we are doing Batman movie, that theatrical Batman movies. And despite my t-shirt, because he never got his own movie and was only in other non-Batman movies, unfortunately, I don't even want to say my favorite live action, the only live action Batman I like, is not a part of this. If you have not seen my 8 million promotional pieces about this, today the trivia will be covering the first 2 Tim Burton movies, the next 2 Joel Schumacher movies, Mask of the Phantasm. Trying to go in order. I need to turn the volume off on my computer because that is what I am hearing in the background. Son of a gun, hang on. The 3 Christopher Nolan movies. I was like, who's being loud in the background? I was like, oh wait, that's me in the other room on the speaker. The 3 Christopher Nolan movies, the Lego Batman movie, just the Lego Batman movie. So I know he's in the Lego movies, but just his movie. And then Matt Reeves, Robert Pattinson. So, which is the one I didn't manage to watch. And I still tried to make sure that I did my research. I watched some YouTube videos. I watched Heavy Spoilers Breakdown. And then I watched the Nostalgia Critic review. And then I watched both Chris Stuckman reviews. And then when telling her about that this morning, I realized in the amount of time that it took me to watch all those YouTube videos, I probably could have just watched the entire movie. So hopefully they covered enough to cover her questions. As I always like to say, despite it being right next to me and in my peripheral, even if I look over, I can't read them. I don't have terrible eyesight. I'm the last holdout in my family to need glasses. I'm not wearing them, obviously. But in order to read her questions, more importantly, in order to read her answers, I would need it directly in front of me. So if you see me glancing over, I can't see the answers. So
that's also why I brought brought my binder with me. This is my trivia binder because I host. So it's like, this is what I use it to.
So I'm not cheating.
No cheating.
As always, I welcome you to please play along in the comments below. Hopefully I already know YouTube. Well, no, because I'm not using a front-facing camera. So YouTube shouldn't be flipping this. You should be seeing it the right way around. Yeah, okay, then, but
so it looked right.
Hopefully YouTube will load the live chat, because obviously the only thing in front of us is my phone on a tripod. I I guess I could probably put it up on my TV, but then I don't know if the comments are going to pop up there. So, and then I don't want to be distracted, looking over the camera at myself on the screen. So, and I could turn it on without sound. So that's not the issue. It's just, if I'd pre-planned enough ahead of time, maybe I could have worked out to where I can see the live comments on screen, and then I could have turned the TV on the other side of the camera, so I could read live comments. But please play along with us. Don't you cheat. Like, I don't have Google because we're recording on my phone, and her phone's playing the music, which hopefully you can hear a little bit. I mean, we don't want it overpowering us, but
right.
I don't want dead silence. I think that's it. In my chapstick. I always have my chapstick and I don't have my chapstick. So we're going to get started as soon as I go grab chapstick. Oh, chapstick. And so the only bat prop that I own, so I am a big Batman fan. I have been a big Batman fan since the animated series. As I always tell the story, it's like I knew of Keaton and West, but my first experience with The Dark Knight was Bruce Timm's Kevin Conroy's version, which also ruined me for every other iteration because I hold them up to that standard, and you can't do that because it's too high of a standard. But so the only bat prop I have is Kevin Conroy's grapple gun, which thankfully works again because she brought batteries. So, made by NECA, not sponsored. Despite the fact that my last 3 toy reviews have all been NECA. Well, they've all been NECA turtles too. So, yeah. Are we ready to get started? Shall we get started?
We are. How do you want to? What order do you want to go in?
I would like. I think when it comes to like franchises, I would just rather go in chronological order.
Okay.
Unless we did something weird, like I think one month we did them backwards, but like.
Yeah. Well, I think.
Did we do backwards?
No, or was it for Turtles that I jumped around?
I don't remember.
I think we jumped around for Turtles.
MCU, you definitely jumped around.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That
you shouldn't do chronologically,
no.
but.
No. All right. Okay, so we're starting with Batman 89.
You're starting with everyone's favorite but mine. It's not a bad movie. I don't hate it. It's just, again, I'm holding every other Batman up to the standard of Kevin Conroy's. That is an impossible standard to reach. The only live action Batman that I feel has approached the standard. Like, I didn't want to say met the standard because I felt, given the content we've received, it doesn't meet the standard, though I do feel that the potential that we were denied could have met the standard. Affleck. But yeah. But Affleck is not in this trivia. So
no, he is not.
We've talked about doing DCEU trivia, but with James Gunn restarting the whole universe, and I haven't seen Shazam 2, Black Adam 2, Blue Beetle, Flash. I have zero desire to see Flash.
You're not missing much.
It's not that I have no desire to see the other 3. It's just
Blue Beetle was okay.
It's a matter of whatever the slightly more positive response of no desire is. Mm-hmm. So I have no desire, but saying I have no desire sounds too negative, and I don't want to insult them like that, but I do want to insult them by saying that it's just a step above having no desire.
You're not rushing to see it. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, I have 8 billion things on my watch list, movies and TV shows, and they're not on the watch list. So if I live to be 300 years old and I never see Aquaman 2, Shazam 2, or Blue Beetle, I will die fulfilled. So, all right.
Okay.
89 Batman.
89 Batman. Okay, question number 1.
Okay.
I'm not going to read off the question numbers. I'm just going to go into them.
Yeah.
All right. How much does Vicky say she weighs?
Oh, now see, if you've watched my Scream trivia, you know that she made those questions far too difficult.
This is not a difficult
This
question.
is not a difficult
It's not a
question
difficult question.
because it is played for laughs, because then Batman reiterates it as sort of a really.
You weigh a little bit more.
Is it 110?
Close.
No, darn it.
Go down.
See, I feel like anytime I'm close with numbers, all we do is we just go up or down until I get the right answer, and that's not. So it's, if I don't know the answer, I'm wrong, and I can't just keep guessing up or down until I get the right answer. So
You want me to just tell you?
yes,
108.
108.
Because you weigh a little bit more than 108. Oh, really?
I apologize to my Lost fans, because 4 plus 8 plus 15 plus 16 plus 23 plus 42 is 108 minutes, which is how long it takes to enter the numbers into the Swan Batch computer.
Thing. Yeah. All right. Who is the crime boss killed by Joker?
Jack Palance. No.
That's the actor.
Yes. Carl Grissom.
Yes.
All right.
For a bonus,
Yes.
how many times does the Joker shoot him?
No idea.
6.
Okay.
Because he's just using a revolver. So.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, what is the name of the war-torn country where Vicky has been taking pictures?
And see.
I swear to God, I don't make these questions to be mean.
No. This is not a mean question, because literally, and so when I was going through and watching a lot of these, I would message her saying, hey, this is a good question if you thought of it, but I didn't tell her what it was, so I wasn't influencing her to either add the question, which would then give me too much of a softball, or remove the question entirely. So this was actually one of those times where I was like, oh, hey, this would be a good question if you thought of it, but I didn't elaborate further. So she did actually write this question. And see, the problem is, I feel like this is the right answer, but then my insecurity is making me second guess myself and saying, no, it's not the answer, because you're being influenced by James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, which does mention this. Is it Corto Maltese?
Yes, it is.
Yes, thank you, James Gunn's Suicide Squad. So it's yes.
Yes, it is.
So, which, I mean, it's from the comics, so it is a DC Comics reference. Gunn didn't create it. Burton didn't create it. It's Whew.
I just went in there for a second, huh? It's like that what is it? That one gift from Key and Peele of
he's just Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele just sweating. What is the name of the chemical plant that Joker uses to taint products? Or like, where's kind of he? Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say home base because that's not correct. But
right.
What's the name of the?
Is it where he has his accident?
Yeah.
Because again, I know the comic answer, and I'm unsure if I did rewatch these, but because we were planning for March, I watched these back in February, March. Most of them. I actually watched Lego Batman
a couple weeks ago,
Friday night. It took me 3 days. Just because of volume, not because of content, because I like to be a considerate neighbor, despite the fact that my neighbors aren't considerate to me. But just because of noise and sound and volume, and starting it too late in the day to do it all in one sitting, it took me 3 days to watch Dark Knight Rises, and it just made it all the more painful. But that was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday last week. So then I watched Lego Batman Friday. I went and saw my mom for the first time in a couple months yesterday, so that's why I didn't watch the Batman, and then I watched. I was in the middle of watching Mask of the Phantasm, which I've seen 1,000 times, when she walked in this morning. So I better get all those questions right, not just because of my love for that movie, but because I literally I just finished the movie like half an hour ago.
Yeah.
And I'm not stalling. We all know this is my ADHD tangents. But yeah, that was to say that I watched Burton through Dark Knight over a month ago. Is it Ace Chemicals?
No.
See, that's the comic book version. So
Axis Chemicals.
Axis. Okay.
Axis Chemicals,
Okay.
Yes. How long does Joker give his men to meet him at the top of Gotham Tower?
Oh, jeez. See,
Yeah, these questions aren't necessarily in order of the movie, just so you know.
well, right. The problem with number questions is unless the dialogue is particularly notable, like 108 Vic, like, or, you know, there's 365 days to the next Halloween, 364, you know, so it's number questions are not typically all that good of questions. Like I said, the Vicky Wait thing was perfect because of how the number is used in the dialogue.
Okay, can I give you a little bit of a hint?
Is it 60 seconds? No, 5 minutes, 10 minutes,
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay,
Because he says.
See, I can't just sit here guessing.
No,
it's one answer or I'm wrong.
Because he says 5 and then looks up and he goes, "Better make it 10."
Okay.
Like, okay, 10 minutes. So, who does? Okay, so this is okay. So who does Jack Napier / Joker tell to think about the future? He says it as Jack, and then he says it as Joker.
Is it
to the same character?
Carl Grissom's girlfriend, he's cheating with, and whose face he scars?
No.
Okay. Is it Bob?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna cut it at 2 guesses because again, it's like I feel like it's not accurate trivia if I'm just sitting here just going
guessing.
Is it 9? Is it 6? Is it 12? Is it 14? Is it so?
That would be Eckhart.
Oh, the dirty cop who should have been Bullock.
Yeah,
but Bullock's not a dirty cop, so it's fine that they used some character that, to my knowledge, is only in that one movie. But B, like the way that they kind of cast him, it's like, why is he not Harvey Bullock? So.
Played by the same actor who plays Porkins in Episode 4 of Star Wars.
Yep.
All right. What is the secret ingredient to Joker products? Secret ingredient.
I mean, it says laughing gas.
Right, but there's a name for it.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Smilex.
Yeah, I definitely would not have remembered that.
All right.
So when I did watch 89 Batman a month ago, that was probably I'm going to be generous, 4th time that I've seen it in my entire life. And I'm old, so that's not a lot of times. So. All
right. This one, this is not like a blink and you miss it, but I gave this question to one of my coworkers. So I tend to test my questions to make sure they're not that hard.
You want to say hi to him?
Oh, hi Rudy, hi Steve, and the event that you're watching. So, what zodiac sign does Joker refer to himself as being? He says the sign to Vicky. If it's any help.
Capricorn is like, because Capricorn is a goat creature, it's used as like the devil, but then Scorpios are notoriously known as just being like good evil. Is it Scorpio or Capricorn?
No.
Okay, then I'm not gonna sit here guessing.
Okay, so Vicky tells Joker, "You're insane," and he says, "Really? I thought I was a Pisces."
Okay.
As a Capricorn, can confirm.
She's the devil.
I'm insane. That's right. Martha and Thomas Wayne are murdered in the alley near this theater. It's the name of the theater that they go to.
Yeah, I don't know.
Monarch Theater.
Okay.
That's actually kind of a constant throughout all of the movies, I think.
Well, and are they saying Mark of Zorro? Because the long history of Batman is they go to see Mark of Zorro, and Bruce gets scared, and does he get scared?
He does in
Batman Begins. Batman Begins. They're not saying Mark of Zorro.
No,
they're seeing some crazy opera with people dressed as bats.
And it freaks them out. Yeah.
So it's Monarch Theater.
Monarch Theater. Yep. Who are the 2 models killed by Joker products? If you can't remember their last names, that's fine. Just give me their first names.
I don't know their first names.
Nope.
Yeah. Sorry.
That would be Amanda Keeler and Candy Walker.
Yeah, I would not have gotten that at all. Sorry. if I have a harder time with Batman Returns, because not that I love the movie so much, but I have been watching it yearly since being told by society that it's a Christmas movie. So I do watch it every Christmas, or the last couple of years at least. Batman Forever, because that was my first cinematic Batman experience. And just despite everything wrong with that movie, there's just so much right with that movie. Mask of the Phantasm, because it's my favorite. So it's like those are the 3 that I will feel bad if I do poorly on the answers. Everything else is sort of just I got it wrong. Oh, well.
All right. Who drew the picture of the bat in a suit that Knox's coworkers used to mock him? So
it's Bob Kane.
It is Bob Kane. Yeah.
Which I noted when I started Mask of the Phantasm this morning, when it comes up on screen, Batman created by Bob Kane. I am wholeheartedly against going back and messing with movies after they have been released. George Lucas. However, I would very, very much like for at least the good Batman movies to just go in and tweak that credit. Don't change anything else about the movie, but tweak that credit to say Batman created by Bill Finger and Bob Kane. And yes, put Bill Finger's name first, because he's who Bob Kane tried to erase. So, yeah. I have words, but I'm trying to keep this a family-friendly show, because it's Batman, who's normally kept who's normally kept family-friendly. Despite the entire character beginning with a murder.
Right. What is Jack's girlfriend's name?
The
one that he scars.
Yeah, Carl's.
Yeah.
Grissom's girlfriend's name. I don't know.
Yeah, Alicia.
Okay.
This might serve as our blink and you miss it.
Okay.
Okay. Which U.S. state flag serves as Gotham's flag?
I'm going to say that I don't know, but I do want to take a second to think and at least make a guess.
Okay.
And again, I'm going to be influenced by Nolan and Reeves using Chicago as Gotham. Is it New York?
No.
Okay.
What's my home state?
Indiana.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because as it was once explained to me, Gotham is basically Gary, Indiana. If you think about it, because
sorry, Gary residents.
Well, Gary is a very industrial, or at least was at one point in time, a very industrial city. Gotham is very much the same way. It's a very industrial city.
And
so,
and if you are a Chicagoan, the in joke is that Gary, Indiana is like just crime ridden. So it's
yeah. So yeah, but if you at one point in time they're in I think they're in Harvey Dent's office. If you look behind him, that is Indiana state flag.
Okay.
Yeah, that serves as Gotham's flag.
So as much as I love Chicago being used as Gotham, I I've kind of always thought of because all of the DC locations are made up, which is why I've kind of always been more of a Marvel fan, just because they put things in the real world instead of just making up cities and stuff.
Mhm.
So, and now there's going to be comments saying, "Well, actually, Marvel makes up these cities and countries too." That's fine, but it still takes place in the real world with some added things. Whereas it seems like, at least in my experience and horrible memory of DC Comics, is that there is no New York or Chicago, and it's only Metropolis and Gotham. But like, because Smallville's in Kansas, and that is canon, that Smallville is in Kansas, but they don't tell you what states Metropolis or Gotham are in. I like to think of Chicago being Metropolis because it is the closest main city to Kansas.
In Gotham?
And then, no. Metropolis is
Oh.
Chicago being the largest main city closest to Kansas.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
And then New York would be Gotham because it's further away.
Okay.
Because why would Clark go from Kansas all the way to the coast when Illinois is in the middle?
Oh, that's true.
So
yeah, that's true.
Plus, there is a Metropolis, Illinois, that does have a Superman Day every year.
They do, yeah.
So
yeah,
it's not as big city as the Metropolis in the comics. It is a very small town. But that is not what influenced me. It's the fact that because Chicago is the closest, I mean, to my, again, horrible geographical knowledge, I feel like Chicago is closer to Kansas than either LA or New York. And if Clark is going to Metropolis, the big city, he's going to go to the closest one, which is going to be...
Yeah, that makes sense.
Chicago.
Yeah. All right, so these last three are quotes from the movie.
Okay.
They're fairly easy.
Okay. Do I have to tell you who says it?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Well, because I was like, you're like, these are quotes. I'm like, so what's my job here?
Yes, you have to tell me who says it.
Okay.
This one is stupid easy.
Okay.
Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Joker.
Or?
Well, because Batman says it back to him.
Well, no. He says it twice.
Okay.
Once as Joker.
Jack Napier.
And then as Jack, yeah.
Well, first as Jack when he kills the Waynes.
Yeah.
Then as Joker. And then I want to say that Batman says it back to him.
Yes, he does.
When they're up in the cathedral.
When they're up in the tower. Yeah, he says it back to him. All right. Again, this one is also fairly easy. You want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. So, fun fact. So funny story. So, when 89 came out, of course, it's like we're both children of the 80s and the 90s. So, VHS is a thing. My dad brings home the Batman VHS, pops it in, and that particular scene where Joker goes to Vicky's apartment brings in that huge box. When she opens it and that hand pops out with the dead flowers, I'm sitting there holding a cup of water, and I literally do one of these. Of course, it's like the funniest freaking jump scare. My parents laughed for a solid 5 minutes, and it was just it's just one of my favorite things to talk about when it's like you see this jump scare and this little 9-year-old. Well, yeah, I would have been 9, and it's just I'm holding this cup, and all of a sudden now I'm covered in water. So my dad thinks it's funny. All right. So this is the last one.
Okay.
Lieutenant, is there a 6-foot bat in Gotham City? And if so, is he on police payroll? And if so, what's he pulling down? After taxes.
Is it Knox?
Yeah, it's Knox. I love Robert Wool. I really do. Okay, so they sound nothing alike. And especially given his history with The Simpsons, the differences in their voices is major, but they do kind of look similar. I always confuse Robert Wool with Albert Brooks. I can see that.
So thank you.
No, I can 100% see that.
So again, Albert Brooks has a very distinctive voice thanks to all of his roles in The Simpsons, and the only one that I can think of at the moment is Hank Scorpio. But I know he did Brad Goodman. Well, then well, I can only think of Hank Scorpio. Well, he did Brad Goodman, and then he did the EPA dude in the movie, whose name I can't remember because it's been forever since I've seen the movie. But we should totally do Simpsons trivia, but not the movie.
Nah.
Seasons 4 through 9, because that's what everyone agrees is the best. Mm-hmm. So
it's like the golden age of The Simpsons.
That's where all of my knowledge comes from.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
So.
I was like, and there's a Simpsons quote for every occasion. It's great. All right, so that thus endeth Batman 89.
Ugh. These shorts are not as short as I feel like they're coming across on camera. So, all right.
So Batman Returns. 1992.
Okay, and I watch it every Christmas for the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years.
Okay, so there are only 10 questions here.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. At
the beginning of the film, Max Schreck, played by the lovely Christopher Walken, is abducted by what group?
It's a circus gang. Hang on. The Red Triangle Gang?
I'll give it to you. Red Triangle Group.
Okay.
I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
I feel like Red Triangle was the important part.
Yeah. That's
not whether it's group or gang or committee or organization or
a Congress, All right. The film's main
Red Triangle Incorporated.
The film's main story, okay, this is a number question. The film's main story is set how many years after the Cobblepots disposed of Oswald?
And it's got to be like 30?
Close.
35. Okay, we're not doing the guessing game.
Yeah.
So 30 was wrong.
30 was wrong. 35 was also wrong. Split the difference.
32.
33.
Okay.
Yeah. Where is the switch to enter the Batcave?
Again, I'm being too influenced by other Bat media.
It's not inside a Shakespeare. It's not inside the bust of Shakespeare.
Are you talking about how Bruce goes down there at one point? Or is it like a constant reused?
No,
because he goes inside of an Iron Maiden.
No,
this is just spikes retract, and
no, this is just at one.
Alfred says, "I'll take the stairs," and then he arrives almost immediately after Bruce, which means that Bruce just wanted to take the slide because it wasn't any faster or more efficient.
Right. No, this is apparently at one point in time. I would assume that there's like multiple ways to get into the Bat tank.
Fish tank.
Yes.
It's in the fish tank.
There you go.
Took me a while, but I got there.
Right. True or false?
Okay.
Selena Kyle is Max Schreck's secretary.
I mean, true, but then she corrects them at one point. Administrative assistant. As a former administrative assistant who is looking for a new administrative assistant job, it's a secretary.
Yes. I'm also an administrative assistant. All right. Where is the Penguin's hideout?
It's under the zoo, in the sewers. Zoo or sewers. Both of those are the correct answer, so I don't know what answer you have.
Probably are. I have Gotham's power plant, but I feel like that's not right now.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. Stupid fucking internet.
This is supposed to be a family show. Come on.
Sorry.
Like, you can swear during horror movie trivia because it's violent and filthy, but come on.
Sorry.
This is Batman.
Sorry.
Apologize to them, not me.
I'm sorry. Now I feel bad.
Someone's kid is watching, and now they're mad at me because you swore.
Sorry. It's force of habit. Oh my gosh. I've been good up until now. All right. What is Oswald's deformity causing his parents to abandon him?
Now, I feel like he has more than one, but the most obvious is his flippers.
Mm-hmm. Flipper hands. Yep. What does Selena use to craft her Catwoman outfit?
since I've been doing it since second grade, and yes, second grade was when the 1990 movie came out. I've been doing it since second grade. Instead of going to Penguin hands, I reflexively went to Ninja Turtle hands. So yes, Trekkies. It was live long and prosper first, but when the actors had to wear the Jim Henson suits in the 1990 Ninja Turtles movie, their gloves made their hands do this inside the glove. So you don't ever see their hands doing this, but because my entire second grade class at my school was obsessed with Ninja Turtles, we all started doing this on the playground. So sorry, go ahead, restart.
Okay.
This is not Ninja Turtles trivia.
We already did that one. All right. What does Selena use to craft her Catwoman outfit?
Because this is a major complaint of mine. It's a raincoat, which does not have enough fabric to become a bodysuit.
No.
If she had grabbed multiple raincoats, I would be fine with it. But there is black magic going on there because there's no way she is turning a coat that only covers your sleeves and your back into a suit that covers her from the top of her head to the bottom of her feet.
Yeah, that don't make no sense. All right. After the penguin unleashes his missile-equipped penguins, who overrides the control signal?
I feel like the obvious answer is Batman, but I don't know.
Alfred.
Oh, okay. Well, I feel like that should have been a more obvious answer. But.
All right. What is Max Shreck's ultimate plan?
You figure this would be an easy answer too, because I'm stuck on Penguin's plan to kill all Gotham's firstborn sons.
Too Jewish.
It could be worse. My nose could be gushing with blood.
It's true.
The moment that made every parent turn on Tim Burton, as well as McDonald's. Like he wants to because Bruce is arguing with him about it's a power plant.
Mm-hmm. But he wants that power plant to do what?
I feel like the generic, currently relevant answer of eat the rich would be to get rich off the backs of the poor, but I feel like there's a more specific Batman Returns centric slant to that answer.
Probably.
I don't know.
He wants to build a power plant that drains Gotham of all of its electricity.
Okay.
Yeah.
To get rich, I assume.
Probably.
Probably by supplying his own energy.
Yeah. How many lives does Catwoman have left at the end of the film? Or how many does she say she has? Me and my number of questions.
I do feel like this one is a little more fair because, I mean, she counts him down as Max is shooting her. Because she loses one when she falls off the roof. Then, does she count the one where Batman basically drops her into a dump truck full of kitty litter? Then Max shoots her a bunch of times. Then obviously she comes back at the end of the movie. Spoiler. If you're watching this, I assume you've already seen these movies. So we should have given a spoiler warning at the beginning of because I mean I feel like we have in the past, but logic dictates that if you are watching Batman movie trivia, then you have watched the Batman movies.
Yes. One would make that assumption. Otherwise, just taking the quiz would be silly.
Does she have 2 left?
Yes,
Okay.
it's 2.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom,
Good.
baby.
Good job.
Because she uses number 7 to kiss with the taser and the exposed wire. So then that would give her 2 left. So then when we see her pop up, which it's not Michelle Pfeiffer, if you didn't know that widely spread trivia fact, it was a reshoot because they're like, we want to set up a sequel or whatever. That never happened, but then turned into the Halle Berry movie. That is not part of this.
No, it is not.
I have never seen it in my
I haven't
entire
either.
life, and that is probably lower in my priority than the previous 3 DCEU movies that I mentioned. But yeah, sorry, tangent.
That's okay.
ADHD.
All right, so thus endeth Batman Returns.
Okay.
So now we are moving on to Batman Mask of the Phantasm.
Is that chronologically?
1993. Yep.
Oh, well then that was my first theatrical, not Kilmer. So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I did see Phantasm in theaters. So
okay. All right. There are
I have a clear memory of being in the theater with my dad. I miss you at Batman Forever. And then while the credits were rolling and we were leaving the theater, we ran into my best friend Sam and his dad. So like I very, very clearly remember being physically in the theater for Batman Forever. And I mean, 93, I was 11. Well, depending on the month. Yeah. I was 10 or 11 in 93. So it's like, you would think that I would have memories. If I can remember second grade in 1990. Sorry, go ahead. Mask of the Phantasm.
Okay, yes. All right.
So, I should do good on these unless she came up with some impossible crap. I should do good on these because I just watched these like an hour and a half ago. This movie. The best Batman movie, by the way. That is not an opinion. I'm stating a fact. If you disagree, I'm sorry, but then you're disagreeing that the sky is blue and
water is
wet and fire is hot. Mask of the Phantasm is the best Batman movie ever made.
When we first see Andrea Beaumont,
yes,
she's on a plane.
Andrea.
Yes, Andrea. Looking at a magazine featuring Bruce on the cover.
Yes.
What magazine is it?
You're a jerk.
I am a jerk.
Is it Time magazine?
No.
Forbes? Again, I can't just sit here guessing. That's not the point of trivia.
It starts with an F.
Fortune.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Fortune. All right.
Not something that I typically pay attention to when watching this movie.
Well, you've seen it enough times. You should. All right.
And I did watch this movie. Like, I was sitting here watching it. I was not on my phone. I was not drawing on my iPad.
Nope.
I was watching this movie.
Nope.
Same cannot be said for some of the prior or future entries in this trivia.
Right.
I was definitely doing other things during Batman and Robin and Dark Knight Rises.
Where did Bruce and Andy meet?
The cemetery.
Mm-hmm. All right. The Phantasm's imminent victims, all of them mobsters, mind you, always hear a certain sentence before they die. What is it?
And again, I just watched this. Do I need to get completely verbatim? I feel like I'm going to, but I feel like there's a chance that I'm going to screw up a word or order.
I'll give it to you if you get close enough.
Your angel of death awaits.
That is verbatim.
Mic drop.
All right. Andy left the United States with her father and remained an expatriate of sorts for many years. Where did she and her father go?
And of course, this is the
I think
part
this
of
is right around the time I came in.
Right, which distracted me. No, that's not your fault. That's my fault for getting distracted, for allowing the distraction. I want to say France or Italy, and I have to commit to one of those. Is it Italy?
Technically Europe.
Okay.
So
they just say Europe?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Europe.
I thought it was more specific than that.
Which I think it's like when I came in, I thought she had been mentioned. It's like we left and settled on the Mediterranean coast, which again would be Europe.
Well,
Yeah. In a rather bizarre sequence, we see the Joker has set up residence in the House of the Future exhibit at the abandoned Gotham's World Fair, complete with a robotic wife and dog. This is actually where I came in because he said something about Meatloaf. What's the name of the dog?
Meatloaf again. So she came in, and I told her that the robot wife's name was Hazel before Joker said it in the movie. So I was good on that. But I did have to wait for him to say this in the movie. And then I did mention to her, I'm like, I need to remember that in case that's one of the questions.
That's exactly what you said.
The dog's name is Rusty.
His name's Rusty.
Can't be too careful with all those weirdos around.
I was like, and I purposely did not say anything about it being a question. All right. What useful skill does Batman exhibit? There's at one point in time where I guess so he has a lot of useful skills.
And the award for vaguest question in the history of questions goes to what useful skill does Batman exhibit?
So in this particular moment, Batman is talking to Andy.
Okay, are you going to give me the moment?
It's when she's, I guess, coming. Was she coming back from a date? And she like walks in and sees that like her window's open or her door is open.
Okay.
So she realizes that's like, hey, there's somebody here.
Her date with Councilman Arthur Reeves.
Yeah.
AKA. I just completely forgot his Die Hard character's name. Ellis?
Yeah.
But what's his first name?
I don't think they give it. I think they just call him Ellis the entire time.
Yeah, but I feel like it's one of those where he does have a first name. It's just not said in the movie.
Yeah.
But I also should be a big enough Die Hard fan. Ooh, Die Hard trivia. I should be a big enough Die Hard fan to know his first name, even though it's not said in the movie. But yes, it's Art Bachner who plays Ellis. Joker, Booby, I'm your Dark Knight. I made that joke earlier to her, but I wanted to do it on camera because that's,
You did.
Okay, yes.
Okay, so
comes back from her date with Councilman Reeves.
Right. And Batman says that she says this particular thing, and she's like, well, how do you know that? And then he says he can do this.
The only thing I remember from that conversation is, and I mentioned this to her, it's baffling that Andrea is mad at Bruce when she's the one who ended their relationship and left. But then she's mad that now she's back in Gotham and he's Batman. Like, why are you mad at him? He should be mad at you. The only thing I remember from that scene, like, noteworthy is she says the only one here, like, living for their parents is you, or something. She says something to that effect. So I don't know what.
No, he says he can read lips.
Oh, darn, yeah. Son of a. You had me bugged? It's like, I can read lips. Then read them now. Get out. Crap. Should have done that.
All right. So which mobster does the Phantasm not kill?
Sal Valestra, because he is killed by the Joker.
Okay, well, that was my bonus question, so there's that.
Well, there we go.
All right.
And yes. No, Sal is not voiced by Abe Vigoda. Sal is not killed by the explosion that Joker tries to kill Phantasm with. That body is dead when Phantasm finds it.
Oh, yeah, he is old and gray.
That smile on his face is a death grin, because while Joker's toxins aren't always fatal, as we see with Councilman Reeves, it frequently is, and his victims die with a smile on their face, and Sal is dead in that. When Phantasm pulls that newspaper down, Sal is dead.
All right, so the Joker tends to pepper his vocabulary with non-English words. Okay? This is a multiple choice question. Which language does he not use? French, Spanish, German, or Italian?
German?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't think of him using any of those other words, though I feel like he would be using French at the most. And plus, going back to 89, influenced by 1990 Turtles. 89 Batman. Nicholson uses French a lot in that movie, and that was not scripted. That was his own contribution to the character.
All right. Where is the Joker's hideout?
You already said that in one of your earlier questions.
I did.
Yes, the Gotham World's Fair, the House of the Future.
Yep.
Yeah. even if I didn't already know that before you said it in the question, you ruined it by putting it in the question.
I know.
So you shot yourself in the foot.
Yeah, I know. And sometimes I don't always notice when I do that. So it's like when I'm doing my PowerPoints for the other trivia that I host, I have to be very, very careful because I'll build out the question and the answer slides first and then copy and paste them, put them up in the questions, and then delete the answer. So I have to be very, very careful to not leave the answer in the question portion. That's all right. All right. So who is revealed to actually be the Phantasm?
Andrea Beaumont.
Mm-hmm.
We think it's Carl Beaumont because Phantasm's voice is Stacy Keach, who voices Carl Beaumont.
Mm-hmm.
So that was intentional on the part of the filmmakers that, let's make everyone think this is Carl because we're using Carl's voice actor.
Right.
Ooh, rest in peace, Stacy Keach. Rest in peace, Kevin Conroy. Rest in peace, Val Kilmer. Oh my God. Rest in peace, Adam West, even though he's not part of this trivia.
Yeah. No. So moving on to Batman Forever. Yay!
Another fact, not an opinion. The soundtrack is one of the best albums of all time.
Yes.
Now, notice I did not say one of the best soundtracks of all times. That's just a given. No. Soundtrack is too limiting of a category. The Batman Forever soundtrack is one of the best musical albums of all times. There is not a single bad song on that entire album.
Isn't. There really isn't.
Even though most of the songs aren't even in the movie, it is one of the greatest musical albums of all times. Yeah. You are welcome to fight me in the comments, but it is a futile battle that you will lose because that is fact.
Majority here. No, because I 100% agree. Okay. All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So before we get started, I got a little fun fact about this one. So, so I was not a wild child by any means, but I did have friends who were bad influences on me. So there was one time it's like we had a little $1.50 movie theater. I'm from Indianapolis, so we had one of those. And we bought tickets to a Daniel Stern movie called Bushwhacked. Went to Judge Dredd instead, the Sylvester Stallone Judge Dredd.
Which is an R, so I don't know why you had to hop.
No, it's
usually you buy a ticket for an underrated movie to sneak into an overrated movie.
No, we bought the ticket for Bushwhack, snuck into Judge Dredd, and then theater hopped to Batman Forever. So we didn't even bother buying tickets. we just went.
None of that makes sense because
it was really funny.
Because
when we stood up for Judge Dredd, the two dudes that were behind us was like, they are not 17 because we were like 14 at the time.
But Judge Dredd is PG-13.
Is it?
Yes. Because it was such a big, massive deal that the Carl Urban Dredd was finally R-rated.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Sylvester Stallone Judge Dredd is watered down. He removes his helmet and the character is not supposed to, and it's watered down because it's too silly and not violent enough.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I never noticed that.
So it's it. And
what were Doug and Dustin doing? Good Lord.
So then I'm not super familiar. I've definitely never seen Bushwhacked.
Don't.
But if you paid for tickets as underage, then I'm assuming that it is
Bushwhack was it was Daniel Stern, so this is like
PG or PG-13 movie.
It was
they sold you the tickets.
It was like PG-13 movie.
So so if they sold you the tickets, that's not an R-rated movie.
Yeah.
And then you snuck into another PG-13 movie, and then snuck into another PG-13 movie. So it's like,
yeah,
you didn't need to do any of that.
no, really didn't. But it's just a fun story. All right, so Batman Forever.
Yes.
All right. Who is behind the bank heist in the opening scene?
Sure, this isn't a Dark Knight question. That's Two-Face. Because literally, when you said that question, my mind immediately just went to the Joker's bank heist at the beginning of Dark Knight. So it's like, wait a minute. Wait, no, oh, yeah, it's the second National Bank of Gotham.
Yes. All right.
Missing by twos.
What does Batman use to, for lack of a better term, pop the lock on the vault?
The guard's hearing aid.
Which it makes the funniest noise when he pulls it out of his ear. It's like, come on. All right. So finish the quote.
Okay.
All right. Another day of wine and roses. Or in your case, blank.
Is this a Riddler quote?
No. Okay. So this is Two-Face talking to the guard.
Okay.
Flips his coin and says, oh, look at that. Fortune smiles on you.
Okay.
Another day of wine and roses.
Okay.
Or in your case.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know.
Beer and pizza.
Okay.
All right. What does...
Roses was throwing me because I'm like, well, clearly the alternative to wine is going to be beer. But then I'm like, what's the alternative to roses? Because you don't eat roses. So
no, you can.
I mean, technically, you could eat anything. I could eat this shirt. It doesn't mean it's food.
All right. What does Nigma's project need to work?
You had me worried in a second with that first syllable of his last name. I was like, oh God, what now? First she drops an F-bomb. Now what is she doing to get me banned on YouTube?
What does Edward Nigma's project need to work?
This is a family show and Black Lives Matter, Cat.
I would, first of all, I would never say that word.
I don't know. Not what I've heard. All right.
We're leaving it a family show, so I am blocking this.
She's flipping me off behind the book. Sorry, say that again.
Okay. What does Edward Nigma's project need to work? What's like the key component that he needs? That Bruce is like, I don't know.
Because I mean, his concern is that it's basically reading people's minds, and now I'm getting confused with the fact that Mr. Freeze needs diamonds to run his cold suit. Shoot, I don't know.
Brainwaves.
Oh, okay, yeah. Reads minds.
Yeah. All right. So this is another finish the quote. All right. So Batman chastises Dr. Meridian for turning on the bat signal. The bat signal is not a what? A
beeper.
Mm-hmm.
Bat signal's not a beeper.
Bat signal's not a beeper.
Chicks dig the car. Actually, that's in Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
But I will get drive-through.
Yes. I'll get drive-through. All right. What kind of show does Stickley feel like he's in? This is Edward's boss.
Ed Begley Jr. Is it a fishing show?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a fishing show. So after, spoiler alert, Stickley's
sewer slide.
Yes. Edward says to another coworker that Stickley is like a father to him, a brother, or a what?
A perverted uncle? I don't.
No, cousin that visits all the time.
Oh, okay.
Get a grip, Edward. All right.
You'll find it matches his handwriting exactly, along with spelling and grammatical errors.
Sentence structure and spelling.
Dang it! Look at.
All right. So this is another number question.
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
Gossip Gertie called how many times regarding Bruce's date to the circus?
3?
No.
Okay.
32.
Jeez Louise. Okay. Gossip Gertie, played by Bob Kane's wife.
Really?
Yep.
I did not know that.
Yep.
I learned something. All right. What aerial trick is performed by Dick Grayson without the safety of a net?
It's acrobatic on a trapeze. Is there a special term for it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. We called it a death drop.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So,
That would not have stuck.
no. Although have you ever watched Batman Forever in Spanish?
No.
It's hysterical.
Okay.
Because you know the scene where Bruce stands up and he's like, Harvey, I'm Batman. I don't know how many times we'll just randomly in my house just go, Harvey, yo soy Batman. It's just
why are you watching in Spanish in the first place?
I don't know, probably because we landed
you and
on
your family don't speak Spanish.
We do not speak Spanish. But it's just funny to watch.
Okay.
So it's or it was on Univision at some point in time or something like that. I have no idea. But we've been doing it for years. All right. What?
That's your hair, not
mine. That
mine.
is my hair. All right. So what is Dick's nickname for Alfred?
Al?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. According to Bruce, how many Vincent Black Knight motorcycles were produced? It's another number question.
Well, because Dick says a number, and then Bruce corrects him by saying one extra.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
101.
Okay.
And how many does Bruce have?
2?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's got 2 of them.
Well, because he says 101 because it makes it sound like he has the one over the 100, but then he's got 2. So
he's got 2. All right. What 4 villain names does Edward try on before clearly deciding on the Riddler?
Is Captain Kill one of them?
Captain Kill is one of them. You don't have to give them to me in order.
Good, because that was never going to happen. The Puzzler?
Uh-huh.
Okay. This is not a legitimate guess. I'm just being silly. Quizmaster Joe.
No.
Okay. You can accept that as an incorrect answer.
I can't accept that as an incorrect answer.
I mean, I'm making the joke because I'm running out of it's Captain Kill and the Puzzler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
The Gamester.
Okay.
And Question Mark Man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I definitely didn't remember that. I mean, I know because when he's doing it, it's his head on the statue of David's body, and he's photoshopping costumes onto it,
or photoshopping for 1995.
Yeah. And then his
little
Zoltar
looking. Yeah.
He's like, I'm just gonna steal his costume. It had pants.
I don't know.
And the jacket was a legitimate jacket that they put on the animatronic. It wasn't part of the animatronic itself. Or he was actually able to take the jacket off.
Or he had it built.
Or he had
okay. All right. Drew Barrymore and Debbie Mazar play these aptly named two-face girlfriends / assistants.
Sugar and Spice.
Sugar and Spice. What does he call it? House and Garden meets. Oh God.
State Penitentiary? No.
Oh, that's gonna bug me.
Yeah.
I'll figure that out later. All right. What does Alfred say is behind the locked door?
Master Wayne's dead wives. It's the silver cabinet.
On your way.
And actually, when Dick crashes through it later, while it does lead to the Batcave, it is the silver
closet.
cabinet. Yeah, it is the silver closet.
All right. What does Chase give Bruce?
It's that dream doll, nightmare doll. It's black and white.
Yeah,
it's like a dream catcher type of thingy.
Malaysian Dream Warden.
Okay, there we go.
All right. What 2 cars does Bruce think Dick boosted before figuring out the other car?
Not the Jaguar, sir. Does he say Porsche?
No.
Okay.
It is another high-end car, though.
I mean, those.
Yeah.
Those. You asked for 2 answers. I gave you 2 answers. I know the Jaguar,
Jaguar
is
is
correct
one.
because that's Michael Go. Not the Jaguar, the other car. So
The Bentley.
the Bentley.
The Bentley.
Which, yes, rest in peace, Michael Go. But I mean, I feel like A, he died of old age, and B, it was a while ago, and we did not lose Kevin or Val to old age, and not a while ago.
No. What is okay? So according to Edward, what is the difference between Two-Face's entrance and Batman's? They're at the party. They're at like the release party for the box.
Right. His was much more theatrical. No, that's my answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your entrance was good. His was better.
Son of a. Okay.
The difference? Showmanship.
Okay.
That would be showmanship.
Showmanship.
All right. What 2 names does Dick suggest as a sidekick name?
Well, he says Nightwing.
Yes.
I know that.
Yep.
Because I remember being a 95, 13-year-old, 12 or 13-year-old sitting in the theater going, he said Nightwing. He said Nightwing. The Bat Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was used derisively towards him or if it was used by him. So.
All right. And as a bonus, what was Bruce's suggestion?
See then that. Dick Grayson, college student.
Yeah.
Which, given that they did age him up, it's like, why is he staying with Bruce? That doesn't make any sense. Like,
what is he, your ward?
It's like,
wrong universe.
You have a grown man with a traveling circus who just lost his parents and grown brother. Why is he then leaving the traveling circus to go live with this billionaire? It doesn't make any sense. That's the problem with aging him up. Is if he's still a boy, then the billionaire can take in this orphan that the circus isn't going to bother taking care of.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have an adult, none of that makes sense.
Right.
Why is he there? Why does he leave the circus? Why can't he stay with the circus as their remaining acrobat? Like,
right? They can pick up other acrobats along the way.
Which,
that's not hard.
Chris O'Donnell's great in the role, especially in the inferior of the 2 movies. But yeah, it just and Chris O'Donnell is great as an older Robin, but the fact that they start him out as older doesn't make any sense in the context of the story they're trying to develop.
Yes. What holiday is happening the night Two-Face and Riddler go to Wayne Manor?
Halloween, because they show up as trick-or-treaters.
Yep. Which, how Alfred cannot tell the difference between children and grown men, I don't know. Oh my God, that's always bugged me.
Especially since one of them is
horribly scarred on one side of his face?
Well, not only horribly scarred on one side of his face, but literally one of his older friends. Because canonically in cartoons and, well, at least in the animated series and in comics, Bruce Wayne and Harvey Dent are friends. I feel like they at least alluded to that in 89 and Forever. Like, I feel like there's dialogue between Dent and Bruce that indicate that they had a history pre-scarring.
Mm-hmm.
So, or at the very least, Alfred should recognize one of Batman's existing rogues.
Right.
Like, I'll give him that he doesn't recognize Riddler because he's brand new and hasn't established himself as a villain yet.
Right.
But like, although this is towards the end of the movie when they show up. Sorry. Anyways, good.
Anyway.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
So, what does Robin exclaim in an homage to Burt Ward's Robin?
Holy rusted metal, Batman.
Huh?
The ground is metal. It's full of holes.
Oh. All right. What classic board game do Two-Face and Riddler play to take out the Batboat?
Battleship.
Mhm.
You suck my battleship.
All right. And last question. Who does the Riddler reveal as being Batman?
I'm Batman.
Yes, himself having gone completely insane.
Oh, so I know that I have, in previous videos, repeated that Kevin Conroy is my ideal Batman. He is the best Batman. However, something I don't think that I have ever, I don't want to say, I've verbalized it publicly, just not on YouTube. The Batman the Animated Series Batmobile is not the best Batmobile. That would be Michael Keaton's. So that car is just flawless. Absolutely flawless. Thomas Goes Nostalgic is hooking me up with the McFarlane one whenever I can get income and afford it to buy it off of him. But I'm very excited because the Keaton Batmobile is the best Batmobile.
All right, so moving on.
Batman Forever.
Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin, sorry.
Yeah, yes. Batman and Robin, so 1997.
And I'm going to say something very controversial that had just dawned on me last week. And I feel like this is something that a lot of people will not disagree with me on. Batman and Robin is not the worst Batman movie. That would be Dark Knight Rises. Holy crap, that movie is terrible. And I had more fun with Batman and Robin on in the background while I was drawing than I did with Dark Knight Rises.
Well, luckily for you, there's only like 6 questions for Dark Knight Rises.
Excellent.
So, because even I could sit through that movie. I'm like, we went and saw it in the theater, and I'm just like...
There are some great moments. There are some absolutely great moments when Batman alludes to Gordon that he's really Bruce Wayne with the, sometimes it takes, putting your coat over a child's shoulders and tell him that the world hasn't ended or whatever. Like, I'm getting choked up now recounting that moment, let alone I legitimately was crying during that part in the movie. So there's good parts to that movie, but holy God, that movie's terrible.
Yeah.
Sorry, we'll get to it when we get to those questions, but
when we get there.
Just I have always had issues with the Nolan trilogy in general, and I am definitely, while I will admit that it is one of the better movies in the franchise, and not just Nolan's franchise, I mean just the whole Bat franchise. It is one of the better movies in the whole franchise, and it is a good Batman movie. Dark Knight has problems that most of its supporters flat out ignore, which bothers the crap out of me. And not that I need to take them down a peg, but it's like, as perfect as I will say that Mask of the Phantasm is, I said to her earlier, the animation's not very good.
Yeah.
There are episodes of the animated series that have better animation than Mask of the Phantasm. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, I will absolutely say is a perfect film, but will wholeheartedly point out and recognize its flaws. So there's just the problem that I have with most Dark Knight supporters is them saying that it's a perfect movie and then literally not admitting that it has any flaws. And every single new time I watch Dark Knight, again, we're not even on Dark Knight, we're on Batman and Robin, but every single time I watch Dark Knight, I find a new plot hole, and it's just, it bothers me when people complain about good, if not better movies, but then give passes to things like Dark Knight. It's when people can't use their logic that a man who has an earpiece that turns into a helmet while he flies his spaceship, how does his Walkman still work after 26 years? Do you think the advanced race who can come up with spaceships and rocket boots can't figure out 80s Earth technology, you morons. Like the fact that people get so nitpicky about stuff like that and then say that there is nothing wrong with the movie The Dark Knight when there is a lot wrong with the movie The Dark Knight. I am sorry. Let's Batman and Robin. Let's go.
All right. What is Mr. Freeze after at the museum?
Diamonds.
Yeah.
A diamond. A big diamond.
Big diamond. All right. You know how I like to, just if there's a question asked within the movie, you know how I like to ask those. What killed the dinosaurs?
The Ice Age.
I am a big fan of puns. I really am. All right. How long does Batman have to save Robin? Me and my number of questions. There's a lot of them.
And this I feel is an unfair question because it's not. It's one of those where it's because at least Joker says 5, make it 10 minutes. Okay, that's part of the dialogue. 108 Vic. That's part of the and not that this isn't part of the dialogue, but it's like this feels like it's just I'm stating information and not that it's part of the dialogue.
He has this long to save him or he's going to die.
Right. And it's either save Robin or chase Freeze, and he has to save Robin. So I don't know. 5 minutes?
11 minutes.
11, okay.
11 minutes. All right. What is Pamela Isley trying to accomplish in her experiments?
Crossbreeding animals and plants?
Yes, which is probably a scientific impossibility.
I was going to say it's a crime against nature. Like
that too. My gosh. All right. What does Woodrue call his super soldier serum?
Is it the comic accurate term for what powers this character?
I don't know. You tell me.
Is it Venom?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
It is.
Like I wasn't sure if maybe he said some wacky name or whatever, or if it's actually Venom that powers Bane.
Nope, he calls it Venom. All right. Dr. Victor Freeze won the Nobel Prize in this category.
Because we're talking about Bane, and I did mention this to her in messages while watching Dark Knight Rises. Batman and Robin misunderstood Bane's intelligence and calculating intelligence. I don't like repeating myself.
They made Bane stupid.
He's just a mindless monster.
Yeah.
But Dark Knight Rises misunderstood the importance of his size. Like it's hysterical that the Nolan trilogy is all about keeping things realistic, and then you have a cybernetic knee brace that couldn't ever let a person kick through a brick wall, but we're keeping things realistic. And it's they do try and utilize camera tricks and maybe lifts or whatever to make Bane taller, but the fact of the matter is Tom Hardy is 5'9". I am 2 to 3 inches taller than Tom Hardy, depending on which convenience store I'm leaving. Not my joke. I can't take credit for that. That is a Ron White joke. If I'm taller than Bane, then you miscast Bane. And there's a line of dialogue at the very beginning of the movie where CIA Littlefinger, which why are you casting a specifically Irish actor for a throwaway role, and B an American character when it seemed weird and out of place, because I don't think that Nolan has ever worked with. I can't remember Aidan Gillen. I was going to call him Peter Baelish. It's Littlefinger from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But Anyways, he says to Bane, "You're a big guy." No, he's not. I know Tom Hardy bulked up for the role, but A, he didn't bulk up that much, and B, he's 5'9". So it's both movies got Bane wrong. You know, Batman and Robin focused too heavily on his massive power, and Dark Knight Rises focused too much on his intelligence and calculating, and they should have married the two.
Yeah.
But yes. Sorry.
Okay.
Can't even remember what the question is. The point of these videos is to entertain you people, so hopefully you're at least laughing at my rants.
All right. Dr. Victor Fries
Yes.
wins a Nobel Prize
Okay.
in this category.
Is it cryogenics?
No.
Okay.
Molecular biology.
Oh, okay.
How is Barbara related to Alfred?
She shouldn't be. It's his niece.
Yes.
Uncle Alfred.
Yeah. As a
Suit me up, Uncle Alfred.
at very least, he could be her grand uncle. But
Yeah.
uncle, no. Bonus, who's her mom?
Margaret. Because his password is Peg. Because he tells Barbara that he calls her Peg, and despite, again, being an adult acting like a 5-year-old, she doesn't understand. Why are you calling Margaret Peg? I don't get that. Hey, as an adult, I don't understand why Dick is short for Richard, why Bob can be short for William. Yes, that's true. Look it up. I know Bob is usually short for Robert, which also doesn't make sense. Rob makes sense. But yes, look it up. It's less common than, say, Bill or Will, which, okay, why is Bill or Billy short for William? Why is Bob short for Robert? But yes, Bob is a shortened form of William, and I don't understand that. That makes zero grammatical sense.
Yeah,
but
even Peg doesn't make sense for
correct.
Margaret.
Right. But if you're an adult that Barbara is supposed to be, this cannot be the first time that she has ever heard anyone call a Margaret Peg.
Yes. And you did answer question number 13.
She's so infantilized in that movie. It's creepy.
Yes. All right. What's Barbara's hobby?
Is it the motorcycle racing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What does Poison Ivy use to make the men of Gotham fall in love with her?
Pheromones?
Yeah. Pheromone dust.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which a really, really cool detail that the visual effects team incorporated that is really difficult to notice unless you're looking for it. When Ivy tries to blow the dust on Freeze, so it's like magenta. When she blows it on him, it turns blue.
I did not know this.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, because obviously part of the scene is him not being affected by it, and you know he's like, I'm not affected by it. But if you watch, it starts off magenta when she blows it, but when it hits him, it turns blue.
Note to self. All right. Who cameos as the banker of the race that Barbara and Dick enter?
Coolio.
Yep. Rest in peace, Coolio.
Rest in peace, Coolio.
Yep. Who busts Freeze out of Arkham?
Ivy and Bane.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What disease does Nora Freeze and Alfred suffer from?
Oh, McGregor's syndrome.
Mm-hmm. You already answered this one.
Okay.
What's Alfred's password?
Peg.
Uh-huh. All right. And this is the last question. What does Freeze use to turn Gotham into a giant block of ice?
Is Freeze Ray the giant diamond?
Well, yeah, but he puts the diamond in this thing to.
Oh, the telescope at the observatory.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, thus endeth Batman and Robin.
All right.
Now on to the Nolan trilogy.
Rest in peace, Joel Schumacher.
Yes,
and
that too.
I have seen far too much behind the scenes stuff with Joel Schumacher to ever blame him for the shortcomings of those movies ever again.
Mhm.
If you learn anything about not only just who he was as a person, but who he was as a filmmaker wanting to make Batman movies, all of the things that are blamed on him for those colorful, campy movies was not his fault. He wanted to make Batman Year One. There is a Schumacher cut. You know, everyone's like, release the Snyder cut. There is a Schumacher cut. Kevin Smith has seen it, and he says that it is amazing, of Batman Forever. That is way more serious and way darker in tone. And there are still elements of it in the movie. In fact, Forever has just the widest just tone shifts back and forth of dark and serious and bright and campy. And the bright and campy was the studio trying to overcorrect from Burton's too dark returns. And Schumacher didn't want to do it. He did eventually embrace it and say, well, if you're going to force me to do this, I'm at least going to have fun with it. But everyone saying, you know, Joel Schumacher ruined Batman or whatever, it's like, no. Warner Brothers ruined Batman. Schumacher wanted to make it even better Batman than Burton did. Plus, dude made Lost Boys and Falling Down. Come on. Hello. Jeez.
Okay, so Nolan trilogy.
Okay.
This should be fun.
So Batman Begins is a better movie than I remember it being. I still have my complaints that I've always had since the announcements of those movies, but Batman Begins is a really good movie, and I would say Batman Begins is underrated because everyone heaps praise on Dark Knight,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone rightfully derides Dark Knight Rises,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like no one addresses how good Batman Begins truly is as a movie,
Yeah.
despite their mispronunciation of Ra's al Ghul.
All right. What?
Raz. But with the way that Bruce Timm drew him and David Warner voicing him, Liam Neeson was perfect casting.
All right, so this does go in, I guess, it does go in order of
Okay.
the movie, so this will make it a little bit easier. So Rachel and Bruce have clearly been friends since they were
Rachel! Sorry.
So Rachel and Bruce have been friends since they were children.
Yes.
Okay. What does Rachel find in the garden? She quickly shows it to Bruce.
Right. He tries to take it from her, or he does take it from her, and then he falls in the cave. And then
Mhm. Yeah, he takes it from her.
after his dad is carrying him into the house, he gives it back to her.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm being influenced by a recent episode of South Park I just watched because I'm doing a series rewatch of that. So I am kind of afraid to say that it's an arrowhead, but is it an arrowhead?
It is an arrowhead.
Yes, okay, thank you. Triangle of Zimpar.
What is the name of the organization Ducard works for?
League of Shadows.
Mm-hmm. What color flower does Bruce need to bring to the top of the mountain?
Is it white?
Mm-mm.
That's my answer. I can't. Yeah. Again, I feel like this is the best decision that I could have made, and I'm sorry that I made it this far into this series. That I get one answer, and that's it. If it's not correct, then it's not correct. I don't get to sit here and guess for 12 minutes straight until I get the right answer.
Right. That's like if you come and play like trivia with us, we will at least, if you at least put something down, we'll give you a point. Unless it's the first round, which is only worth 1 point, then it's just like straight up wrong.
Or it's whose line is it anyway, where the points don't matter.
Yeah, right. Well, in this particular case, it does because you win cool prizes. But yeah, no, that answer.
Not this case.
Not this case.
In what you're talking about,
Yes.
your trivia events.
Yes.
Yes. No.
Yes.
We're not keeping points here.
Mm-mm.
Like,
Yeah,
maybe we should be like, maybe she should have a Sharpie and mark off, the ones I get correct or whatever, so we could say at the end of the video, this is TENIME's score. Put your score in the comments below. But it's like,
right.
yeah, so points don't matter.
Right. In this case, it would be blue.
Okay.
It's a blue flower.
Okay.
All right. Who
See that?
kills Thomas and Martha Wayne?
It's the comic accurate answer. Joe Chill. Richard Brake.
With whom?
Who would have been a great Joker. Watch Rob Zombie's 31 with Richard Brake playing Doomhead and tell me he would not be a great Joker.
With whom did Joe Chill share a cell?
Was it Falcone? Okay.
Yeah. So during one of their little, I guess, training exercises, how does Bruce create a false sense of gotcha with Ducard?
Say that again.
Okay. So during one of their training sessions, how does Bruce create a false sense of gotcha with Ducard? Ducard does something, and then Bruce
So is it
does this particular thing.
while fighting, Bruce's arm gets cut by Raish's sword?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to only call him Raish. I'm not calling him Raz. And yes, while he has not been revealed yet as Ra's al Ghul, and he is going by Henri Ducard at this moment in the movie, I'm still going to refer to him as Raish because that's who he has been, despite Bruce and the movie-going audience at the time not knowing, again, despite him being a perfect casting. We're not supposed to know that he's Ra's al Ghul. He's still Ra's al Ghul the entire time. So they're sword fighting. Bruce gets his arm cut by Raish's sword, and when Bruce is trying to hide amidst all the other ninjas, he cuts a bunch of their arms to basically not make him so unique amongst them. So then Raish is like, oh, this is Bruce because there's the cut on the arm.
And Bruce is like, hello.
Yeah, and Bruce comes up behind him with his sword and, ha-ha, gotcha.
Right. So, yes.
Oh, so I have black Converse on, and she has yellow Converse on, and I don't have bat socks, but I have Kill Bill socks, which are black and yellow, and I guess you could say that, there's blood because, Batman's parents were murdered.
That's a stretch.
One of my favorite comic strips of all time is Riddler saying, what travels down an alley and is full of holes? And Batman goes, my parents? And Riddler goes, oh my God, no, a bowling ball. Too soon. Too soon.
That is dark. Oh my Lord. All right. So according to Ducard,
Yes.
what is Bruce's weakness?
His compassion?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
That he won't kill.
Right.
I don't have to kill you. I don't have to save you either.
All right. So within this movie, after he leaves Gotham, Bruce has been gone for 7 years.
Okay.
Who had him declared dead?
Was it Alfred?
No.
Oh. Was it the board?
Well, yeah, whoever the head of the board is.
Gotcha.
So that's Mr. Earl.
Oh, okay. Rucker Hauer, yeah.
All right. What reason did Bruce give Lucius to borrow a military-grade suit?
Spelunking?
He's going spelunking.
Which I could sit here all day and criticize most of the casting choices in that trilogy, but Morgan Freeman as Lucius Fox could not be better. And it's not because of his voice, because if you watch, he doesn't even do the Morgan Freeman voice in the role. It's just he's just so charming, and he comes off as intelligent as the character is supposed to be, and probably one of Freeman's best roles, if not his best role.
Yeah. All right. So there is a scene at one point where Bruce drops in on Gordon while he's still at the police station and basically kind of intimidates him. What item does he use to intimidate Gordon?
Oh, because he sneaks up behind him and makes Gordon think he's holding a gun to him. Is it a stapler?
It is a stapler.
My brain immediately went to when Rachel first sees Batman and she gets him with her taser, and just the barbs sit there on his suit, sparking, not doing anything to him.
Right. Where is Arkham Asylum located in this film in particular?
In the I'm gonna mess up this word. In the Barrows?
Rhymes with it.
Ah, crap.
The Narrows.
Narrows. Son of a
Narrows. All right. Now, you've already said this.
Okay.
Ducard is revealed as whom during Bruce's party?
Ra's al Ghul.
All right.
Ra's al Ghul is dead.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So, one of my favorite pieces of DC media ever. There is an episode of the CW DC's Legends of Tomorrow, where the team time travels to the League of Shadows or League of Assassins or whatever. And in that episode, every single character, every single time they say his name, they pronounce it differently. And it makes me crack up every single time I watch it. They say Raz, which drives me crazy. They say Raish, which I have been told by Arabic speakers that both are correct. But when the first time that anyone hears the name pronounced outside of Denny O'Neil's comics was Batman the Animated Series, where they only ever pronounced it Raish. And then even in I very specifically remember watching the Batman Begins DVD special features where Denny O'Neil says that when he created Ra's al Ghul, and Ra's al Ghul is Arabic for the demon's head, and it's like the thing with language is a lot of times if you mispronounce a word, especially in another language, that you're changing the meaning of it. But yes, I have been told by Arabic speakers that Raz is still, which it's not R-O-Z, it's Ra apostrophe S. Because Ra is the demon, and if it's the demon's head, it's Raz al Ghul, the head. But like, yeah, it's I can't remember I should know the name of the episode if I love it so much, but especially if I call it one of my favorite pieces of DC media. But yes, there's an episode of Legends of Tomorrow where every time they say Ra's al Ghul's name, they pronounce the R-A apostrophe S differently every single time. It is absolutely hysterical.
Right, so this is our last question for Batman Begins.
Okay.
Why do we fall?
So we can pick ourselves up again. I'm getting choked up there.
So we learn to pick ourselves up.
We learn to pick ourselves up.
Yeah. Okay.
Which it doesn't necessarily choke me up when Thomas says it, but absolutely when Alfred says it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. All right. So The Dark Knight.
Yes.
Okay. So back when Wizard World was still Wizard World, before it became Fan Expo, we went
because first it was Chicago Comic-Con, then it was Wizard World, then it became Chicago Comic-Con again, and now it's Fan Expo.
We went to a panel, and this is like in 2008, right before The Dark Knight came out. We managed to get in line super early, got into this panel. We're all given T-shirts that we were all told to wear. So, and it's got like the Dark Knight logo on it, and it says
it didn't say I believe in Harvey Dent.
No. It said it just said The Dark Knight on it, and there's other writing on it, but you can't really see it. And on the back it says Chicago Wizard World, like August whatever it was, 2008. And
why don't you bring that shirt?
I couldn't find it.
You jerk!
I couldn't find it. We have two of them. I have one, and my husband has one. So
DJ Khaled.
Yes, yes. My,
If you don't know, her husband looks exactly
my husband looks like exactly like
DJ
It's
Khaled.
hysterical. I even bought him a DJ Khaled pop just because. Anyhow, so
Why am I yelling?
another one. Anyhow, so we're all in this panel. Not only do they show us footage from The Dark Knight, which was filmed in and around Chicago, and I have another story about that when we get further into the questions. At the end, they come through, they completely turn off all of the lights in the room that we're in, come around with black lights, and all you see is ha 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 ha.
Nice.
Written all over the shirt.
Nice.
So, and it's like the coolest thing. We're like, holy crap, this is awesome. But the fact that we got to see, it's like the scene, oh God, I don't even remember what scene it was. I think it was with Harvey, right after he had become Two-Face, essentially. And just
Two-Face is my favorite Bat rogue, and just the way that they portray him in that movie is so good. And it just, at the time, it made me so upset that they killed him off at the end of the movie. Spoiler. Because it's like, I bring him back, give him more screen time, because he doesn't even get a quarter of the movie.
No.
Like,
I do love Aaron Eckhart.
This still should have dyed his hair black.
Yeah. All right. So you gave, I think you gave the actual name of the bank earlier, but what kind of bank is the Joker and his goons robbing in the opening scene?
It's a mob bank.
It is a mob bank.
You know where you're stealing from? What doesn't kill you only makes you stranger.
All right. Well, there goes question number 3. Because I was going to have you finish the quote. All right. So what does the Joker put in the bank manager's mouth?
Smoke bomb.
Mm-hmm. Let's get number 3 because you just said it.
Sorry.
Literally. This actually, no, my blink and you miss it comes in The Dark Knight.
Okay.
Because I mark it BAYMI, which is blink and you miss it.
Okay.
What 3 figures are on the wall as potential Batman suspects?
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I have no idea.
Liberace.
Okay.
Abe Lincoln.
Okay.
And Bigfoot.
Okay.
Yeah, they're like, I guess they're trying to figure it out, and they one of the cops throws a wadded up piece of paper and it hits the wall, and there's Liberace, Abe Lincoln, and Bigfoot as potential Batman suspects.
I feel like that it's an obvious gag that everyone laughs at when they see it, and I guarantee I did too. But yeah, that did not stick in my head. Wow, that's a good question. And I don't even necessarily think that's a blink and you'll miss it question. I think that's just a good question. Oh.
All right. Who was working with the Chechen?
Scarecrow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
What tips off the Scarecrow that the Batman fighting them isn't the real one?
You wearing hockey pads?
Well, but that and there's another reason.
And there's more than one of them. Oh, they have guns.
Yeah. I was going to say, what is Batman notorious for not using? All right.
And before any Affleck detractors come at me, Michael Keaton uses guns and way more lethally than Affleck. So suck it. Keaton's Batman brutally murders so many people in those 2 movies. Brutally, not collateral damage. Pointedly homicides, unalives villains in the Burton movies. So don't even try and come at Affleck with Batman shouldn't kill. I agree, Batman shouldn't kill. One of my favorite lines of Batman, one of my favorite Batman lines ever. Obviously, it's Kevin Conroy, but it's in the world's finest crossover with Superman, the animated series, where Lex Luthor is showing Bruce the robots that they're working on together, and he's talking about using them for military purposes, and just the way Kevin Conroy said, it's just there's nothing particularly poignant about the line. It is all in Kevin Conroy's delivery. Bruce looks at Lex and he says, "I don't like guns." And it's, so yes, I'm not a fan of Affleck's Batman killing. I am not a fan of Affleck's Batman using guns, but don't even try and tell me that Keaton's the best Batman ever and it's because Affleck uses guns and kills people, because no, Keaton uses guns and kills people. I said the K word enough times to get the video flagged.
All right. Who has replaced Katie Holmes as Rachel Dawes?
Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Yes. I do love Maggie Gyllenhaal. Bruce's date is the prima ballerina of which renowned ballet company?
I mean, they're Russian, but is that the answer?
Oh, kind of the Moscow Ballet.
Okay.
Yeah, so close.
Shoot.
Yeah. All right. What magic trick does the Joker perform?
I'm going to make this pencil disappear. And it's gone. Which, there's some really cool YouTube videos proving that wouldn't necessarily be fatal. So probably lose the eye, but
yeah. All right. What is the bounty Gamble places on the Joker? Me and my numbers questions.
Is it $1 million? So for future reference, I do very much like number questions where the number is notable where it's notable.
Mm-hmm.
So especially if it's humor.
Okay.
So like 108 Vic, or 5 minutes, make it 10, but these types of questions I don't feel are that fair. So
okay.
Is it $1 million?
$1 million alive.
Okay.
Yeah, but 500 grand dead.
Okay.
$1 million alive.
Gotcha.
So you can teach them a lesson. All right. What kind of case does Harvey and Rachel bring against the mob? Sorry.
See, my true crime enthusiast, especially when it comes to Chicago Mafia, because Al Capone got caught for tax evasion. Is it tax evasion?
No.
It's racketeering. I'm doing the guessing thing. I failed with the incorrect answer of tax evasion.
It is a RICO case.
Oh,
if you can charge.
What is RICO? Because I don't.
I forget what it stands for, but it's like
I necessarily ever understood what that was
right,
in the movie.
Like if you can charge somebody with one thing, it's like, or if you can charge it's oh god, I'm trying to think of the best way. It's like if you can charge somebody with one thing and there are others involved, you can charge all of them with it.
Okay.
Which is why there's so many ding dang lawyers in the courtroom, because they've gotten like 235 different mobsters in, so they were able to bring a RICO case.
And then Maroney tries to shoot Dent, and he says, "Next time, buy American," or something.
Yeah, something like that. All right. So the fake Batman from earlier in the film.
Yes.
Do you know what his real name is?
Oh, because it's the one that Joker kills.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Brian Douglas.
Okay.
Yep.
Hangs him from the side of was it One Police Plaza or something?
I think so.
But yeah, paints a Joker smile and just drops him up from a noose.
Yep.
So.
All right. So there is a Joker card that is touched by 3 different people: Judge Cirillo, Commissioner Loeb, and Harvey Dent. How are the judge and the commissioner killed?
The commissioner is killed with. I was always confused because you figure it's poison because he drinks something, but then it looks like it's acid because it's like smoking on his desk.
Mm-hmm.
So can you, before I move on to the other part of that question, can you clarify, is it poison or is it acid?
I'm not entirely sure myself.
Okay.
I just said that he was poisoned.
Okay.
So
and then
because acid is probably going to have a very acrid taste and smell to it.
Right.
Whereas there are poisons that don't.
Right.
So I would assume that.
So maybe they just use the smoke as a visual device for us.
Yeah.
To not, because the point of movies is to show, don't tell. And without the smoking, then you would have some just lame exposition of Gordon going, "Oh my God, it's poison," or "He's been poisoned." It's just,
Right.
so I do commend them for using the smoke, but it's always confused me whether it's acid or not.
Right.
And then this is the judge is funny because it's like, where am I going? Well, even we don't know where you're going. Open up the envelope. And then she opens it and it just says up, and then her car explodes.
Yeah, she looks up and then boom.
She's going up.
And left and right and probably a little further back. And all right, what is the weapon that is hidden in Joker's shoe?
It's a knife.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Check my mic.
Oh, yep. Yep. All right. How much does Mr. Reese want? We're good. In an attempt to blackmail Bruce, which is what this has to be like one of my favorite line deliveries from Lucius.
So I will retract my statement that your gamble money ransom does fit the criteria that I set forth, because, it's kind of a joke of, I'm paying you less if you kill him because I want him alive so I can kill him. This, I do feel like, is because the point of this whole thing is not the amount. It's if you think he's really a vigilante who dresses up in black and goes out and beats the crap out of people, you sure that you want to blackmail that person?
Good luck.
Yeah.
Just
So I don't know the amount.
That would be $10 million a year for the rest of his life. All right. So,
and there's like some stock option too that he wants as well. Yeah,
that's probably something. So this is a bonus. So I read somewhere a long time ago that there was a fan theory that Mr. Reese was being set up as this villain.
Riddler?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because the Mr. Reese. Yeah.
Also, the car that Bruce uses to basically save Reese's life by getting in between Gordon's car and the person trying to ram them is a Murcielago, which is Italian for bat.
Oh. Learn something new. All right. Who is shot and presumably killed during Loeb's funeral?
Is it Gordon?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you said funeral, I'm like, they're in the middle of a city street.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a weird place to have a funeral. So I guess it never occurred to me that it was a funeral. So.
Yeah. So so if you watch The Dark Knight, obviously it was filmed in and around the Chicagoland area, particularly downtown. I work downtown. So there are certain points in the movie where like, oh, I know where that is. I know where that is. I know where that is.
Continue.
The scene where Batman drives through Millennium Station, which I walk through every day, pops out at the Board of Trade, not possible. When he's coming down the street, in the scene where the Joker is saying, "Come on, hit me," there's a building over his left shoulder. I used to work in that building. It's now a hotel room. It's now a hotel. It used to be an office building. But yeah, that's just a fun little piece of trivia that I have. It's like I walk through filming locations every day. And that's the same thing with like Transformers. It's like the same thing with the Transformers movies too, because I walked by set pieces in lots where they're no longer buildings.
Well,
and
so
it's just the funnest thing.
In Batman Begins, it's sort of like a 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon story. So it didn't happen to me or the person I know, but it happened, and it didn't happen to someone they know, but it happened to someone they know, someone they know. Like it's like 4 or 5 degrees separated, or maybe the whole 6 degrees separated. But during Batman Begins, when the Batmobile first gets the Tumbler, when it first gets revealed to the film going audience, and then there's that car chase, and it breaks onto the highway. So if you are I would assume you already know. So this is not new trivia for you if you are a Chicagoland native. But if you didn't know this, then hopefully you enjoy this little piece of trivia. But the highway is 290, and I know someone who knew someone who knew someone who, because when they filmed that car chase, they couldn't Like there are times where movie productions can shut down portions of traffic, and there are times where they cannot, and either have to work within it or at least work adjacent to it. But so while they were filming that, the person I know, person they know, sent a text that while they were driving down 290, don't text and drive, it's dangerous. While they were driving down 290, they're like, the Batmobile just drove past me. It's pretty awesome. So something I wanted to address earlier, because I feel like you're getting there, because you did kind of allude to something earlier, but I didn't say it because I wanted to wait. Is this a question that fans of The Dark Knight can answer, or is this going to be a question that only a Chicagoan can answer?
Which
is your next question? What I thought.
Is my next question? No.
Okay.
My next question has absolutely nothing to do with that. I just wanted to tell this.
Okay. Do you have a Dark Knight question that? Something you said earlier made me think that you had an upcoming Dark Knight question that was not necessarily going to be about the movie, but more of the production, or it was just okay.
Nope.
So you were just alluding to your own anecdote.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I thought you were alluding to a question because when the semi truck, when they're transporting Dent, and Joker pulls up in the semi truck, does it say slaughter is the best medicine? Because laughter is the best medicine, and you added an S. I want to say that's the pun.
That is the pun, because that's the question after the one I'm getting ready to ask.
Sorry. So when that scene, they're like, it's not a tunnel, but it's kind of it's basically underground.
Which is whacker.
Well, that's where I was going.
Yeah.
So stepped on my moment.
I love you.
When Joker pulls up in the semi truck with the rocket launcher, that is known as Lower Wacker Drive. That is where my oldest brother was stationed for the beginning of his police career. He worked the graveyard shift on Lower Wacker Drive, which is probably the most dangerous place. Well, at least at the time. I don't know if it's changed since, but at the time, and for maybe a decade or two, the most dangerous place to be in the city of Chicago was Lower Wacker Drive in general, but especially for a police officer, and especially the graveyard shift, which is, midnight to 8. So it's, yeah. My brother got out of the police academy for the Chicago Police Department, and they immediately just placed him on the graveyard shift on Lower Wacker Drive. And it was just like, we're never going to see my brother again. So luckily he is looking for wood. Knock on wood, he is still alive. He retired. He made it to retirement. But yeah, the beginnings of his police career were a little scary.
Yeah. Oh my God. All right. Batman breaks the ankles of this mobster played by Eric Roberts.
Yes. I already said Maroney.
Oh, yeah. Did you? Yeah. Oh, I didn't think I asked that one. Oh.
You didn't ask it.
No.
We were talking about the courtroom scene.
Oh, yeah.
I said he pulled the gun on Dent.
Yeah.
Which, canonically, Maroney is the mobster who does attack Dent in a courtroom, but it's with acid. That's how he turns him into Two-Face.
Right.
So while I was singing the praises of the portrayal earlier, I don't necessarily know if I like the burning process. The way that he falls down, and that side of his face gets covered in the
gas.
Is it gas?
I think it's gas, or kerosene, or something flammable, whatever it is.
Well, the problem with that, because Batman and Dent make it out of the warehouse, and it's the explosion, and I guess it's the heat catches that part, which is what burns Dent, which please please nicely correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe there's a YouTube video where maybe Mythbusters covered it, that seeing if it was possible or not. But like one of the biggest truths that you learn early on that is super fake about movies and TV is that it isn't the gas that catches fire. It isn't the liquid of the gas that catches fire. It is the fumes. It is the vapor. So having Dent's face wet, and then he leaves the building, so it's had time to at least drip down his face. So yeah, I'm sure his face didn't dry off completely, but like, I don't know, it just, as much as I love the CG, as which that's good CG when you can't tell that it's CG, when it looks like it's absolutely flipping real. See, that's how you
I know it
not drop an F-bomb.
I know. I really am sorry about that. It just I say that word a lot and it just kind of comes out.
I've dropped the F-bomb on plenty of YouTube videos and especially live streams, and I'm not big enough to get penalized by that algorithm just yet. It's the matter of, for trivia that should be child friendly, I want to keep my videos child friendly. Right. So it's,
I love how in the 80s you could drop one in a PG-13 movie and still retain its PG-13 status. You could drop it in a PG movie.
You could drop it. Beetlejuice. Mm-hmm. There are 2 F-bombs in Beetlejuice, and last I checked, unless they retroactively changed it, Beetlejuice was rated PG. And there's 2 F words in that movie. You could have nudity. You could have almost full frontal nudity in a PG movie.
Or animal nudity. Hello, Howard the Duck.
It was the context. It wasn't the nudity or the swear. It was the context in which they were used. And depending on the context is what elevated the rating. Back when the rating system actually made sense.
Yeah.
Hashtag defund the MPAA. I don't know if that's a hashtag, but
probably not.
Let's make it catch on.
All right. So there is a prisoner.
Disband that meant defund.
Yeah.
But yeah. Defund. Get rid of the MPAA.
Yeah.
And the Academy.
It's silly. All right. So there is a prisoner.
Demi should have won the Oscar for Substance. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Mikey. I love you, but no, that's it. And I'm getting back on the soapbox. I've done this on streams before. I'm getting back on the soapbox, and I won't get off it. When you have a movie about a woman who is being shunned by her industry for being too old and not pretty enough, and then that role loses out to a younger, prettier.
She just proved the point of her movie.
You walked into that. Like, you could have saved yourself the embarrassment by not doing that, and you walked into it.
Ready for the next question?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So there is a prisoner in the MCU who is complaining of a tummy ache. Why is he complaining of a tummy ache?
I keep forgetting that what is it? Metropolitan Crime Unit?
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the MCU. And every time they say it in those Nolan movies, I'm like, the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
What?
Like, when Blake shows his badge to frickin' Joey Quinn from Dexter, again, with the random cameos in Dark Knight Rises. But when he's on the bridge before the National Guard blows the bridge, before the bomb goes off, he holds up his badge. He's like, MCU, and it catches me off guard every single time. So you talk about the prisoner in the MCU, and I'm like, we're talking about Batman, not MCU.
Different MCU.
Sorry,
no,
he has a tummy ache.
He has a tummy ache.
What's the question?
Why does he have a tummy ache?
He's a phone stitched under the skin. It's gross.
Yes, he has a detonator cell inside of him. That's why. He told me it's like, what was he? He's like talking about the voices, something like that. All right, so the Joker, you and I have talked about this. How the Joker pulls.
I hide my hat.
The Joker pulls a bait and switch.
Okay.
leading Batman to rescue whom?
Harvey.
Yes.
So and then that's one of my nitpicks about the movie, because later on, I'm forgetting it. I'm gonna say Harvey is mad at Batman for saving him.
Yeah.
But it's like
you can't be mad at him. He got told the wrong thing. He's
right.
thinking he's going after Rachel.
Batman chose to save Rachel. He was given the wrong information by the Joker. And I don't know if you can use the argument of, well, Harvey didn't know that. Because I feel like maybe in order to back up my nitpick, I need to go back and pay closer attention. But I feel like it's made pretty obvious to Harvey that Batman is not there to save him, that Batman is there to save Rachel instead. And so then for later on in the movie, for Harvey to be mad at Batman for not saving Rachel instead, I feel like the reason that it's standing out to me, or that it has always stood out to me as a plot hole, is the fact that it shouldn't be. Lost my point.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
What was the question?
No, that was you already answered it.
Okay.
It's like he pulled the bait and switch, and who does he go see
Gotcha.
instead?
Okay.
All right.
Sorry.
So what does Batman pull from the rubble of the building that Dent was in?
Dent's quarter or coin.
Yeah,
is it a quarter?
And no, it's a coin. It's a
It is a double-sided. It is a two-headed coin.
Yeah.
Because the whole well, you can't leave these things up to chance, and well, he's not, because every time he says heads I do the right thing, tails I do the wrong thing, and it's a two-headed coin. Yeah. So he's giving everyone else the illusion that he's leaving it up to chance when he knows deep down he's going to do the right thing, because the coin can't come up any other way until it gets burned.
Yes. What hospital is the priority, as the Joker has threatened all three? There are 3 hospitals in Gotham. Which one's the priority?
Are you looking for a name?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
Gotham General.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Is there a person in there? Because I know that there's.
Yeah, Dent.
Okay, that's why. That's what I was going to say. So it's which a lot of people like to use a false fun fact about that scene of Ledger didn't know, or when Joker tries to blow up the building and it doesn't immediately blow up, and he's like, is there something wrong with my detonator? Why is this broken? A lot of people try and say, oh, he was just ad-libbing that. That was actually an accident. No, it wasn't. That was complete. Especially when you're dealing with explosives in general, let alone explosives with an actor on camera, all of that was planned. It was played very well. Mm-hmm. I will give Heath. Oh, rest in peace, Heath. All the rest in pieces that we've been dealing out. We've missed Heath. I apologize. Still hashtag not my Joker, but he still does a better job than incel Phoenix. I'm glad that is not part of this trivia, because I do not want to watch that movie ever again. I watched it once. It is bad. It's like I could do an entire video talking about why that movie is not only poorly made, but is potentially dangerous. But yes, he was a good actor. He was a very, very good actor. While it does kind of seem like they gave him the Oscar posthumously, to where maybe if he was still alive, they wouldn't have given him the Oscar, it was deserved. Mm-hmm. He was a very, very good actor, but that is not the ad-lib that everyone tries to tout it being. Mm-hmm. It was always planned for the explosion to not happen immediately, and for Joker to wonder if the detonator was broken. So Stop spreading that misinformation. Just like there is not a dead little person in the background of The Wizard of Oz. Look at recent remasters. It's a bird, guys. It's a giant crane
Or
flapping its wings.
or the ghost child in Three Men and a Baby.
It's a cardboard standee of Ted Danson.
Yeah.
So it's not even a cardboard standee of a child. Because the myth has always been it's a ghost child. It's Ted Danson. Stop.
Oh my gosh.
Embrace the true fun facts. Stop spreading the misinformation.
Okay.
Like I put in my my Shredder review yesterday, it's my problem with, kids these days not knowing that a 3.75 inch, 3.5 inch floppy disk is the save icon. Isn't generational whining. It's the fact that people are not only content to be ignorant, but they prefer it over being informed. And that is the problem. I don't have a problem with the ignorance. It is the willful part of willful ignorance. I don't hate you because you're stupid. I don't know everything. I'm really, really blanking stupid. I really wanted to drop an F-bomb right there. I'm really stupid. I don't know most things, and I'm wrong about a lot of the things that I know. And I'm willing to admit that. And I want to learn what is right. I want to learn the truth and the facts. I want to get better. It is the problem is everyone not only being content with being wrong and ignorant, it's the fact that they prefer it over being truthful and intelligent. Table flip.
All right, we've got.
Sorry, how long have we gone on, by the way?
I don't know, but we have 3 questions left in this particular section. All right. So Harvey asks one of Gordon's people to call Gordon's wife.
Okay.
Who was that person?
Ramirez.
Yeah. All right.
Wirtz and Ramirez. Yeah. I blanked. I was like, oh God.
All right. So on the vote of inmates.
Harvey, you're alive. Half.
On the boat of inmates, the prisoner does what? Okay,
sorry.
With the detonator.
If you want an actual fun fact, which again, it's completely planned, which shows what a good filmmaker Nolan is. While I have issues with these movies, it is not about how they were. It's not about how they were technically made. It's just I didn't like how they were canonically made. But so not an ad lib, and definitely evidence of how good of a filmmaker Christopher Nolan is. Watch when Maroney is getting in the car. It is right at the edge of the frame. If you have a TV that maybe cuts parts off, you might miss it. But when Maroney's getting in the back seat of his car, you can actually see Dent pull the thug who's with Maroney off to the side. So that way when Maroney gets in the back seat and Dent's sitting next to him, because I've heard a lot of people be like, how did he just teleport in there? He doesn't teleport in there. It's actually on camera. You actually see him sneak into the car. It's really clever. So, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so one of the boat inmates.
Yes.
The prisoner does, or on the boat of
inmates, rest in peace.
Tiny Lister
Jr. Wow, man.
The prisoner played by Tiny Lister, does what with the detonator?
He tosses it overboard.
Yeah, tosses it out the window.
This is not a complaint about the movie. This is a complaint about actual human society nowadays. But you have the boat of convicts and you have the boat of good people, the law-abiding citizens, arguing that, this homicidal maniac has told us that our detonator is for the other boat, and you're believing him? Like, because all of the citizens are so bloodthirsty to blow up the convict's boat.
Because they had their chance.
How do you not know that the detonator won't blow up your own boat, geniuses? Like, and I know that those characters are not privy to the prior event of Joker giving Batman the wrong address, giving him Dent's address instead of Rachel's address. Or he gives him both addresses. He just says that
Rachel's in one and Dent's in the other.
Rachel's in one, Dent's in the other, when it's actually Rachel's in one and Dent's in the other.
Yes, the opposite is true.
The citizens don't know that.
Yeah.
But logically, and again, this is not an issue I have with the movie, because I feel like it is very accurate to how human beings would react in real life. So it's actually just a complaint about human beings in real life. Like, how do you know that detonator is not going to blow up your own boat just because this homicidal maniac who has put a bomb on your boat and given you a trigger? How do you know that that trigger is going to blow up the boat full of convicts? How do you know it's not going to blow up a hospital? How do you know it's not going to blow up your own boat? It's just, that's right. Yeah. That's, and again, it is, I will not criticize the movie for that. That is not one of my criticisms or complaints about the movie. That is not a plot. That is not one of the many plot holes in the movie. That is just an issue I have with people in general. It's like, why do you think that hitting that won't end you instead?
Right?
No one has survival instincts anymore.
Right. All right, so last question for this particular round.
Okay.
Who refers to Batman as the Dark Knight?
Is it Gordon when he's telling his son? Okay.
Yeah, Gordon. Okay. All right, so
I feel like these shorts, like, these aren't like short shorts, but like they're riding up in such a way that, like, I feel like how I'm sitting, like, it looks like I'm wearing short shorts.
Who wears short shorts? I wear short shorts. So The Dark Knight Rises. There are 9 questions. If we can power through these without going on a tangent, we might be okay.
Okay.
I'm going to do these rapid fire.
This movie is so bad.
Okay. Rapid fire for you.
Okay.
All right. What is Bane's signature characteristic?
His mask.
Mm-hmm.
What sounds like Sean Connery? If Sean Connery played Darth Vader. Who made that decision, guys? Come on. Okay. Sorry. Sorry.
What new law has been passed to allow quick and strict sentencing to those associated with organized crime?
Dent's Law?
Close. The Dent Act.
Okay.
How long is the time jump between The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises?
8 years?
Yep.
Okay. And there's especially if he stops being Batman at the end of Dark Knight and does not have those injuries, why does he then have those injuries 8 years later? Like, again, this is something that has been debunked by medical professionals. It's like athletes who do more in a longer period of time don't have the injuries that Bruce starts off the movie with. Oh my God, I hate this movie so much. It's such a bad movie. It is such a bad movie. What are you doing, Christopher Nolan? This movie is garbage. What is this? Is a stain on his otherwise exemplary career. I haven't seen all of his movies, but I've seen most of the main ones, and this movie is so bad. It is so bad. Just from ignoring any complaints that I have as a Batman fan, and it doesn't accurately adapt or portray things from Batman continuity with whatever, nerd complaints of, well, Batman doesn't look like that, or Bane wouldn't sound like that. It's just from a storytelling standpoint, this movie is poorly written. It is poorly written.
It's unnecessary.
And it is written by the Nolan brothers. It is written by Christopher and
I don't know his brother's name.
Crap. I mean, he co-writes most of his movies with him.
Oh.
I should know it, especially since they were both responsible for Memento, which was the first Christopher Nolan movie I and most people saw, and made us like Christopher Nolan. But yeah, I want to say David, but my name is Christopher David, so I don't want to like. I feel like saying it's David Nolan is wrong because I'm confusing it with my own legal name. This movie is terrible. It's terrible.
It's unnecessary.
It's so poorly written. It is no. I mean,
well, if it had been,
they absolutely could have and should have made a trilogy. Why not? You know, your second movie was more successful than your first. Make a third one. Make a trilogy and close it out. But just the way it's written, it is so terrible. Okay, let's move on because I'm going to spend an hour and a half ranting about how terribly this movie is written.
And I do have to go home eventually. All right. What does Selena Kyle steal from Bruce's safe?
His mother's pearls.
And?
Oh, his fingerprints.
Yep. What is Selena Kyle known as?
I feel like this is a trick question.
Oh, not really.
I feel like it should be obvious that Catwoman is the answer, but then I feel like that also isn't the answer.
Do you want to hit?
No, just
the cat.
Oh,
just simply the cat.
Gotcha.
I was going to say, what do you call me? Cat. Cat. All right. What is the name of the prison that Bane?
I like it. All of this dark, and I just see this light-colored stuff. I'm sorry, ADHD. It's not you. It's just it's my ADHD.
I have gray hair. All right.
Oh, that wasn't hair. That was like lint or something.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. All right. What is the name of the prison that Bane escapes from? There's a nickname for it.
Oh, the Pit.
Yeah. All right. What is the name of the prison that houses nearly 1,000 inmates thanks to the Dent Act?
Blackgate.
Mm-hmm. Miranda Tate is revealed to be whom?
Talia al Ghul, which is really good casting.
Yes. And what is John Blake's real first name?
There are really good things about this movie, and this answer is not one of them. And this is something I'm going to, because I did say to her off, in messages, but John Blake's first name, not real, but it's because John is his middle name. His first name is Robin, and it is not the clever gotcha moment that the Nolan brothers thought it would be. I guarantee there's not a single person on this planet other than the Nolan brothers that didn't roll their eyes when that came out. You know what would have been more clever is if you had Joseph Gordon-Levitt play a character named John Grayson, because nerds would have been like, why is his name John and not Dick or Richard? That's stupid. Why is his name John? Why is his name John? But if you're a real Batman fan, you know that Dick Grayson's middle name is John. And then at the end of the movie, when John Grayson, it's not Dick Grayson's origin anyways. So you're already I don't want to say not being faithful. It isn't faithful, but I don't want to use that complaint. I don't want to make a nerd complaint. I'm trying to go from a better screenwriting approach for the type of fan service that they were trying and failed at. But if you'd had Joseph Gordon-Levitt play this cop named John Grayson, you would have had the nerds go, why is he named John Grayson and not Dick Grayson? And then at the end of the movie, during that gotcha moment where he tries to pick up the things that Bruce left to him, and, well, I don't have anyone here for John Grayson. And he says, here, use my legal name, my full legal name. And then she goes, why don't you go by that? Instead of it being, well, I don't go by Robin because it's too effeminate. He could say, I don't go by Richard because kids are cruel, and call me Dick. And that would have made people actually react the way you wanted them to with the Robin reveal. Because then when you reveal that John Grayson this entire time is actually Dick Grayson, people would have lost their minds in a positive way instead of the entire planet collectively rolling its eyes that his name is Robin Blake.
All right. On to Batman?
Thank God.
Okay. There are 6 questions.
So wait, the Batman, Lego? You're not going in chronological order?
Oh, no, I guess not.
Okay. I was going to say, Lego came out first, but I'm fine because, like I said, I was ill prepared for this movie, and so I would rather just get this over with while it's fresher in my mind.
Okay. But let's see what
Yeah.
we can do about powering through it. There are 6 questions plus some like little bonus thingies.
Okay.
All right. Who kills the mayor in the first few minutes?
Riddler.
How?
It's a carpet hammer.
Okay. When?
Halloween.
How long has Bruce been operating as Batman? And according to this film.
Is this year 2?
Okay. All right. Who was injured after opening a letter meant for Bruce?
Alfred.
What is the Riddler's real name?
Edward Nashton.
Why is he so upset with Batman?
This is why I should have watched the movie and not YouTube videos.
If it makes you feel any better, I only made it about a half an hour into this movie and noped out.
It's a great movie. My complaints about this movie are as a nerd fan of Batman the Animated Series going, this isn't how I want my Batman portrayed. So, but otherwise, this is a very, very good movie. It is very well made in every aspect. Apart from the issue of instead of hiring someone who is fat and balding, you turn an attractive, fit guy into a fat and balding character. That's just, I don't know.
Because he apparently proposed to team up and was told no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is very Incredibles. Because it's like very Buddy and Mr. Incredible.
It is, despite the heaps of praise I just heaped on it, I've only seen the movie once.
Yeah.
So.
All right. What song does Edward sing as his last clue to Batman?
Is it Ave Maria?
It is Ave Maria.
Yeah.
All right. Now riddle me this.
Okay.
The less you have of me, the more I am worth.
This was definitely not covered in any of those videos. Which, thank you, Nostalgia Critic, Chris Stuckman, and Paul from Heavy Spoilers. Or Kevin Spoilers is his alter ego. Which I do. I know Jim J. Roz of Channel Awesome. I know Walter Benaziac of Channel Awesome. I know Ayanna Wade of Channel Awesome because it's literally because of, I mean, I didn't give her the job, but I told Ayanna that Channel Awesome was taking auditions for women and that she should audition. So I have interacted with Doug Walker, the Nostalgia Critic. But what's really, really funny is, and this is not a criticism towards him, I don't think I'm important enough to remember, but every time I meet Doug Walker, for him, it's the first time. We had a really funny interaction at this past C2E2 where both Jim and Rob Walker, Doug's brother, were kind of like, you know him already. And Doug wanted me to publicly make a joke of him being unforgettable. So, but yeah, I don't know any of the other YouTubers. I wanted to thank them for their videos because literally the only reason I was able to get any of those questions correctly was because of your videos. So what's the last question?
The less you have of me,
okay,
the more I am worth.
And this was not in any of the videos. Is it Time?
No.
Okay.
A friend.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Like I said, I've seen the movie once and it was when it first came out.
All right. Okay. All right. There are 10 questions for Lego Batman. All right. What song quoted at the beginning does Batman claim is his?
I don't know.
Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah, that's like yeah. Because they have the quote. Like they play the song at the end of the movie, but they have the quote at the beginning and it says Michael Jackson, but then the narration, Will Arnett changes, no, I said that. And it changes the Batman. Son of a gun. Okay, sorry.
outside of Batman's more well-known rogues gallery of Riddler, Scarecrow, Two-Face, Catwoman, Clayface, Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze, and Penguin, name 3 of the villains that attack Gotham Energy Plant.
I was like, if you expect me to name all of them, you're cruel.
I'm not that.
So one of them is Polka Dot Man. Yep. And I know that stood out to me because I guarantee at the time I had not only never heard of the character, but also it didn't stick in my head of, oh, hey, that's a crazy villain. But it's because of James Gunn's Suicide Squad and David S. Malchian, who was also in The Dark Knight. He was one of the Joker's gunmen at the
funeral. Yeah.
Just because you're holding it on the street in the city between 2 buildings, I want to call it a parade. But anyways.
Yeah, so Polka Dot Man.
Polka Dot Man. Catman. Mm-hmm. I know Catman's in there. My first experience with Catman was it's a 3-part story from the mid 90s. I wish I could remember the name of the story. But like it took this cheesy villain from the Silver Age and basically made him a serial killer. And it is such a good story arc. I will put in the comments the name of the story arc. I wholeheartedly recommend, if you are a fan of things like, Seven or Silence of the Lambs, or The Batman. It's a little darker than The Batman. It is a little closer to Seven or Silence of the Lambs, but there's a Catman story in the mid 90s that is really good. Orca, because there's a part later on where Batgirl like brings attention to Orca, and he just goes, "I'm a whale."
Alrighty, so to go through all of them, it would be Crazy Quilt, Eraser, Polka Dot Man, Mime, Tarantula, King Tut, Orca.
I know King Tut. I know Orca.
Killer Moth.
I know Killer Moth.
March Harriet.
Don't know that.
Zodiac Master.
Nope.
Gentleman Ghost.
Yes.
Clock King.
Yes.
Calendar Man.
Yes.
Kite Man.
Yes.
Catman.
Yes.
Zebra Man.
Nope.
And the Condiment King.
Yes. Which not only stood out to me because he's the last one shown, but he's a Batman, at least to my knowledge, he's a Batman the Animated Series character. I don't know if he is in other media other than BTAS and Lego Batman, but I'm trying to build the McFarlane Collect and Connect, the Build-A-Figure. If anyone can help me out with the pieces that come with Batman and Robin, so I don't have to buy extra versions of Batman and Robin in bad paint schemes, please help me out with those Condiment King pieces. I have the Scarecrow and Mr. Freeze pieces. I just need Batman and Robin's pieces. So,
all right, what is the password to get to Wayne Island?
Iron Man sucks.
Yep.
Stupid.
What is Batman's favorite food?
Lobster Thermidor.
What movie does Batman watch in his home theater?
Jerry Maguire.
Where does Batman want to put the Joker?
Oh, the Phantom Zone.
And what does he need to do so, and where is it located?
He needs to break into the Fortress of Solitude and steal it.
But what is it? What is it that he needs to steal?
The Phantom Zone projector gun thing.
Can you name 3 villains in the Phantom Zone other than Zod, who is seemingly there, but we never see him?
We never see him. This is my own, other than just which this was not the fault of this movie. It was the fault of Lord Miller from the first Lego movie. Just my complaint of, I feel like there is a better way to make the character of Batman comical other than making him a Will Ferrell character of being a unrepentant man-child. But other than that, my biggest complaint about this movie, and it's really good. It was only the second time I'd seen it. It's really funny. It's the CG is so good.
It really is.
It doesn't look like CG. It just looks like it's stop motion Legos.
Yeah. Even the Lego movie is like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's where it started.
Right.
I mean, which they'd had CG Lego projects before the Lego movie, but the Lego movie broke new ground with this photoreal CG. My biggest complaint about this movie is because you have all of these Warner Brothers characters from the Phantom Zone, it makes it less of a Lego Batman movie and just more of just a generic multiverse movie, which to me just feels like another Lego movie, just without Emmett or Unikitty or Wildstyle. So Voldemort, which is hilarious because Ralph Fiennes is in the movie, but he is not voicing Voldemort. He's Alfred.
Yeah.
Eddie Izzard is Voldemort. There's a lot of them. There's Rexy and a raptor from Jurassic Park. There is Jaws, or Bruce the Shark. And I know you only needed 3, but I kind of want to name a few more. There's the Wicked Witch of the West. Shoot. King Kong, the Kraken. King Kong is voiced by Seth Green. Sauron, because one of my complaints is the fact that, and it's not Zach Galifianakis' fault. He voiced the Joker. It is the fault of essentially Chris McKay, the director, to let every single time Zach Galifianakis talks about Sauron and he calls him Sauron, that is not his name. Like, Elsa's sister is not Anna. It is Anna. Name pronunciation is important. It's not a tomato thing, based on your accent or whatever. Name pronunciation, it's who that person is, whether they're a fictional character or not.
You even had to correct me during Lord of the Rings trivia a couple times because I kept saying Sauron. I kept saying Sauron.
I have a friend whose name is Nina, and she does not pronounce it Nina. It is Nina.
Yeah. Her
name is not Nina. It is spelled the same. Her name is not Nina. His name is not Sauron.
I had a girlfriend in high school. Her name was Bree. Bry.
J.R.R. Tolkien was a linguist before he wrote any fantasy novels. The pronunciations are important.
Yeah. No, I had a girlfriend.
That is not a point of nerd contention. It is literally, if you want to be an intelligent human being speaking a language, the pronunciation is important.
Yeah, no, I had a girlfriend in high school. Her name was spelled B-R-I-E, pronounced Bry.
That's weird.
But
no offense.
Every teacher pronounced it Brie. Every single one, and she always had to correct them.
Especially if it's a real person, it's disrespectful. And when you're a YouTuber and you're mispronouncing something that you could have literally spent 30 seconds going on YouTube and looking up a clip of them being introduced on a late night talk show, because the talk show host is not going to mispronounce their guest's name. It is unprofessional. I am not big enough at this for this to be a profession. I'm not making money at this. Like I said earlier, I'm not big enough to get demonetized or flagged for dropping F-bombs or not using terms like unalive or sewer slide, But when this is your paid job and you're making a lot of money, when you mispronounce an actor or director or makeup effects artist's name, it is Rob Bottin, not Bottin. I don't care if it's spelled Bottin. The makeup god who worked on John Carpenter's The Thing is Rob Bottin. When you mispronounce a real person's name, ignoring the fictional character whining, when you mispronounce a real person's name, it is not only disrespectful, but because this is your very highly paid job, it is unprofessional. Are we done with Lego Batman?
No.
Okay.
We had 3 questions left. Sorry. But I will also add on there were Gremlins.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Daleks.
Yes.
Dracula.
Okay.
Medusa.
Okay.
Matrix agents.
Yes.
And that was actually the last one I had. That was the last one I had.
Cool.
Medusa.
Yeah.
All right.
That rant was so impassioned I forgot where it started.
All right. I feel like I'm missing a word in this question, but what costume does Robin put on to save Batman when he goes at it? I guess when he goes at it alone. I don't know what I was thinking when I wrote this question.
So the costume that ends up becoming his Robin costume is Batman's Reggae Man costume.
Yeah.
But he takes the pants off because they're too restrictive.
Yes.
Which this is a Batman fan nerd complaint. I have less of an issue. I actually have zero issue with him having glasses. But why does he have brown hair and not black? That bugs the crap out of me. I
may have to go back and rewatch it to figure out where I got this question from.
All of the suits have pause and you'll miss it, tongue-in-cheek gag names.
Yeah.
I want to say, because I know what it looks like. Like it's got the wings, and like it not only has the wings on his back, I feel like it's got wings off his mask too. Did it say Nightwing next to it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Nightwing.
It is not the Nightwing costume, but it is titled Nightwing, and it just looks like a weird. Which this is a compliment to the Lego Movie, but also a criticism of just the Batman franchise all around. With as big of a deal that a lot of, especially recently, a lot of different iterations of these characters have made such a big deal of Alfred having been like in the military and in Secret Service. How is this the only time? And if it's not, correct me, because I would love to experience where else it has happened. But as far as I know, this is the only time that Alfred has suited up with Batman, and it's awesome. And why don't we do this more often?
And he makes mention of the why he's so good. He was like, because he flew in the Royal Air Force.
Yeah. Which again, that's not new.
No.
You know, that is pretty much, I don't want to say always, but at least for a good 20, 30 years, it has always been a part of Alfred that he has had military training, if not also Secret Service training. But it's like, how is this the first and only time that Alfred has suited up to help Batman out? You know, we always know he stays in the cave.
And it's the Adam West color scheme.
But well, and then later on he gets that awesome costume where it's just a Batman costume, but he has a domino mask like Robin, and then he's got a chauffeur hat, which kind of makes him look like the DC character. I want to say Black Hawk, I think is the name, but yeah, it's awesome. It's what we need Alfred suiting up more. This is something that should not have taken this long to happen, and something that needs to be addressed. Something that needs to happen more because it's cool as crap.
All right, we got 2 questions left.
Okay, sorry.
What is the name of the system that scans bad guys in the Phantom Zone?
Phyllis, voiced by Ellie Kemper.
Yes. And last question.
And I absolutely hate that the Bat computer is voiced by Siri. That, like, before the whole AI is bad and taking people's jobs debate, because this movie came out before all of that started, like, that could have been an actress.
Mm-hmm.
That you took someone's job because of Siri.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Right.
We're better than this.
All right. So the last question.
Okay.
All important movies start with a blank and end with a blank.
I don't know.
All important movies start with a black screen and end with a white screen.
Okay. Yeah.
And thus endeth the Batman questions.
All right.
Have we decided on next month's trivia? Oh, yeah, we have, because it's May.
So March was supposed to be Batman, and then April was supposed to be Disney animated. So I'm shifting the schedule, and it's next month is not going to be Disney animated, because what would make the most sense is to just shift everything down a month, because I just wasn't in a good headspace to do it. But because no, never mind. I was going to be like, well, I had the next 4 months planned out, and I was going to give you all of those, but I'm going to keep those secrets to myself. So, you've already been spoiled that it was supposed to be Disney animation, and so that will then be June. But May was always going to be and has to remain it's Star Wars trivia. So
yeah.
May the force be with you. This is the May. That's what my Aurebesh says. Is that my Aurebesh says this is the way. But
yeah. I was gonna say the only date we cannot do that is May 4th, which is Star Wars Day, because my family cannot get nerdy enough. My youngest son was born on May the 4th. So, and he was named for Sir Alec Guinness. And yeah, so can't do it that day, but because it's a Sunday. And yeah, we'll be celebrating. He'll be 7.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're old.
I am. It sucks. I hate it. So yeah, fun times.
Upcoming videos. It is because Justin was awesome enough to buy enough Ninja Turtle comics from me that I was able to afford the NECA Haulathon TMNT PandaCon. So whenever that shows up, I haven't gotten a shipping notice yet. I just ordered it Friday. There will be a toy review on that. Thanks to Ian for buying a very expensive third-party Transformer that I sold. I was able to afford the Four Horsemen Figura Obscura Ganesha. People in the Mythic Legions Facebook group I'm in have already gotten theirs, and I haven't even gotten a shipping notice yet. Come on, guys. I want my 4-armed elephant god. But there will be a video for that whenever I get that. A, it looks like a cool figure, but B, since Jacob Marley, I've reviewed every Figura Obscura figure. In fact, I even retroactively bought the first Figura Obscura figure, Krampus, and did a video on it, despite it being like 6 years late. So I have not reviewed Father Christmas because I have neither figure because I don't like the figure in either paint scheme. But yeah, as far as I did not review Sun Wukong Monkey King. Did I? No, I did not. I did Jacob Marley. I did Anubis and Bastet. I did Frankenstein's Creature. I did Ghost of Christmas Past, and I will be doing Ganesha. So look forward to those videos. Like I said, next month trivia will be Star Wars trivia. Please join us for that. I haven't even started on the thumbnail because, like I said, the next one was supposed to be Disney animation, so that thumbnail's done. But I will get to work on that thumbnail, and once the thumbnail is done, no, because I have to get a date from her in order to put up a placeholder on YouTube. Sorry. If you as I cover the microphone, if you subscribe to my Patreon, $5 a month gets you unlimited behind the scenes access. You will see when the Star Wars thumbnail is completed, or actually you can watch the process of me drawing it. Anything else?
The YouTube algorithm sucks.
YouTube algorithm, blah, 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 blah. YouTube algorithm sucks. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching. Anything else?
No.
No.
I think that's it.
Say goodbye, Cat.
Bye, Cat.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. TTVN, ta-ta for now.